Hello and welcome back to Two Andrews, One Barbell, episode 7. I'm Andrew Blackwood.
I'm Andrew Rowe, and this is our guest today, Lystus Fibonacci,
Hey, yo.
our Italian friend.
No, you have to tell him. Come on, what?
Huh? That's not my surname.
So we were asking how to pronounce Lystus' surname because, you know, written out, it looks like, what does it look like on
It looks like Ebosele or something.
Ebosele?
Yeah.
Didn't know it was like,
Afrikaans.
yeah, secret letters.
So what is it?
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci.
Yeah,
This
cool as
guy,
fuck.
man. Yeah.
Mine's a roaster.
He's smarter than that. He's a Virgo. He knows.
So could you please tell him what your actual
yeah.
name is?
Lystus Ebosele.
You did not believe her. Did you actually
Fibonacci,
believe
our Italian friend.
So, Lystus Ebosele, that is a very unique name. Is there anyone else in the world called Lystus?
No, and if there is, it's because of me. Because this isn't a joke. So my name is like my parents' ship name. So my mom's name's Lydia, my dad's name's Festus. So you take the L and the stis and Lystus. So literally, if there's anyone else, it's
They're
after
copying
me.
you.
They saw
That's
me
cool as
squat
fuck.
like
Yeah.
500 lbs. They're like, yeah, I'm naming my child
Yeah.
that.
It's a unique one.
Sick. Okay, so this is our first episode with a guest. So we're just going to go with the flow and try prevent Lystus talking for an hour and a half.
Getting herself cancelled.
4-hour episode.
Yeah. So, what do we start with? How do we know each other? Why is this?
Yeah.
am I
How
here?
do we know each other?
Yeah.
Because you asked me this, and I honestly had no idea.
You guys know
Because-
each other longer.
Yeah, but I don't know. One day Lystus didn't exist, and then the next day she was like the strongest powerlifter in Ireland.
I'll
so
tell you what happened. I value our friendship enough to remember, right? But basically, so I think it was when I started powerlifting. And obviously, like, I had a TikTok. So always scrolling and stuff. And like, when you get into that powerlifting content, they start showing you more stuff. There was 2 specific people I was obsessed with. It was you and
me.
Liam. No. No, it was you and Liam McManus. And I used to, and you guys were like, since I was in abs and I was around the same people, I was like, who are these mysterious guys just training in their gaps? Like, why is Liam squatting in his kitchen? And then you're in your shed with your dog. I was like, who the heck is this guy? And then like, I loved your content as well. And it was like, so like consistent. I was like, I think this guy seems cool. And like, everyone would talk about you, be like, international lifter, like he doesn't lift in, like what is, I was just so intrigued, like so mysterious, right? And then there was a blurry area because I think either I followed you on Instagram or you followed me, and then it was just that thing of you'd post some lift and I'd be like, that's so sick, you know, general kind of.
I remember now. I followed you and you didn't follow me back.
Oh
And I was like,
wait.
You think you're all that? You just start powerlifting.
People say I get so many notifications coming in, like you just don't see that stuff.
Stuff being so famous. Is it? Oh, great.
And when I noticed, then I obviously followed back. It wasn't a thing where I was ignoring. Like if I saw, I genuinely would have gone gas by like an Andrew Blackwood follow, right? And then I think we were just going back and forth, like fire emojis, like 666. The first thing I remember though was Junior Worlds last year. No, Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah.
When we met, and then we just like had this like massive conversation, like deep stuff about like powerlifting and like gold
When
medal
we were going to
syndrome.
quit. We were talking about when we were going to quit.
No,
We were like,
genuinely. I remember because that's when I was in Italy and we were just like, we're sick of this. Like, we're leaving. We're like, if you leave, I leave. We're like, we're just going to be gym lifters. Like, I remember that whole saga. But yeah, I think that's kind of how we met.
Yeah, no, I remember that bit.
Yeah.
I remember that bit.
I think
But
that's
I was
the
just
first
saying,
time
you're
person.
like, your burst onto the scene came out of nowhere. From like, again, just one day you weren't there, and then the next day you were
Yeah.
winning nationals and you're going international and you're winning worlds and winning whatever. So yeah.
I love having that effect. I wish I could do. I remember the first video I posted as well, because it felt like it almost broke the Irish kind of power, because everyone was like, what the heck?
Who is
Because
this
I
guy?
remember there's some weirdness with like Odyssey vs abs, you know, those old times, right? And then I had a friend from Odyssey, and then I told her I joined abs, and she was like, you joined the enemy, basically. And I was like, what is that? I was like,
happy
what did I
friends.
do? And she was telling me all this stuff, and I was like, what have I done with my life? Like, I've changed the whole course of my life, and I was just like, this is crazy. And it was getting shares everywhere, and I was like, what is going on? Like, it was mad. I genuinely felt like I felt like I was gonna get like killed or something. Everyone was making it seem like it was a proper like gang rivalry between the two
It
two
was
clubs.
back in the day. I remember when I was like a sub-junior, there was like, I don't know, abs were the enemy.
Yeah.
I'd never even met a single person
Yeah.
from abs.
It's
And
crazy.
for whatever reason, they were like I don't know, they're just public enemy number one.
And I think that's why we didn't become friends, because I was like, Andrew Odyssey, like it was in your name. I was like, just stay away from him. Like, just trouble. Not that I knew who you were in the first place, but
Until
Hold on, tracking back. Taking my posters down off her wall and shit.
It was until I said I was friends with you.
That's exactly what it was. Because I was like, if Andrew's friends with him, then like,
He must
Then
be
I-
all right. Like, he can't be
yeah,
too bad.
exactly. And then I think we had like a few random interactions just because we knew each other by association.
Yeah.
And then I remember the first time we actually had a conversation, I was like, this guy's actually kind of sick.
Yeah.
Was varsities.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about your J1. Like I was like, oh, he's so sick. And then you were like, he pricked off to America. I was like, oh, cool, new like powerlifting bestie train. And then he just pricked off to America.
Lost 10 kilos body weight.
Yeah.
It was because she asked me out on a date and I said no.
Wow. Say that.
I did not have to say no, so I booked off to
Rejected in
America.
front of all.
Because she would have beat my shit. Okay.
Oh, how has it got to this stage already? We're 5 minutes in?
Bad.
Okay,
Okay.
but here we go.
How did
right?
you guys
So
actually-
what actually happened was we were at varsities and we hadn't met, so I was just like, you guys are friends. Obviously, you knew we were friends, so it was like
Yeah.
right? But you weren't there, so we had to just break the ice ourselves. Talked. You were handling a guy called Andrew, right? So I was doing someone's talc. I hope he's listening to this. I was doing one of my guys' talc, and then Andrew was like, "Oh, dude, will you just do my talc? Lystus over there, busy." I was like, "Yeah, of course, whatever." I was like, "What's your name?" Andrew. I was like, "Oh, I'm Andrew as well." He was like Andrew Rowe, or he was like Andrew Rowe. I was like, "Yeah, and you?" And he was like, "Yeah, you." And I was like, "Rowe," and he was like, "No, you." And I was like, my brain was stopped. I was like, "Andrew Rowe," and he was like, "No, I'm Andrew you." And then obviously I pulled out the fucking like, have you seen Rush Hour?
Exact scene from
And he
Rush
was like,
Hour.
yes, everybody I talk to tells me I have to watch Rush Hour.
Why is everyone's buddy named Andrew though? It makes this so confused because now I have to call you Ro. I don't even see you as an
Tell me
Andrew.
what have you guys been calling me in the group chat?
Ro Bolo. I said to you, it's like when you like say something to like a little child and then it's the only word they know. Like I was like, nah, like you actually look Bolo. Like I didn't know you were actually like
It's the only
hedge,
black word I
right?
know. It's the only black word I know.
Bolo, yeah. And then he was just like, what is that? What is that? He reposted it, didn't even know what it meant. That could be the
He could
biggest
be like,
insult.
this is the most disgusting bloke ever. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now like he commented under my last video of like my 205 for 8 reps, in case you didn't see it. Bolo, and it made me laugh so it's just Bolo. So now we call him Robolo.
Yeah, I refer to him as Little Andrew, but that's just me personally. Jay, I believe Jay Farron came up with that one, so shout out to Jay.
Little Andrew, Big Andrew.
Yeah, he said when you and Little Andrew are coming in to do the podcast, you can train after if you want.
how come when I rang you the other day, it said daddy on your phone?
I wouldn't even put that past you for a second.
Oh, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
So that's
Anyway.
how we all know each other.
Yeah,
And the first time we've been a trio was last week. Like we've never actually all been together.
Really?
Yeah, first time was
That's
last
wild.
week.
That's
bullshit.
It is.
Talking shit, man. What the?
Maybe spent a day together,
Yeah,
but definitely.
I think that's the first significant time.
Yeah.
When else
fair,
have
fair.
all three of us just been like,
European Championships.
you went to that? Did go to that? Oh yeah, I remember. It's too easy, man. I'm gonna play that off. That I'm joking. Anyway, what was the next question you had?
I'm gonna keep
To be
teeing
honest,
her up,
just cut the camera.
teeing her up and just letting her. Yeah.
I know you're gonna ask me something wild, so I'm just getting it in. While I
Yeah.
can.
So anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on me, for fuck's sake. Moving on, right? So, anybody who does not listen, which is probably everybody listening, right,
Realistic.
knows her as this superhuman, superhero persona on Instagram. And you are, to be fair, right? Like, we take the piss out of each other all the time.
A compliment?
A compliment. See, she's surprised.
compliment,
But you are, right?
Yeah.
Like, what she just posted, like 230 for 2 on squat?
Yeah.
Like a 120 bench or
that's
something
so
as well,
low.
I think.
Yeah, like
Whoa.
115 bench. You're nearly at 120.
No. I did that when I was like 9. That's your bench you're getting confused with.
Yeah.
I was literally training with these lads last week. They're both doing 120. I was in
'Cause we
shock.
know how to
Yeah,
follow
we were
our
training
programs,
last week.
so-
And we had to talk her off the edge because she was about to overshoot. So you're welcome that we were there
Yeah.
training last
I'll
week.
take that on the chin. If you don't try, you'll never know. That's
Anyway,
what I'll
we
say.
got to
Hey,
your
go back. Yeah.
I keep
were saying
touching
some-
my nose piercings. They're so bad.
You were
Yeah, this
saying-
guy was late to the recording because he was getting his nose pierced.
No, because I was collecting lists because she doesn't know how to drive.
See, this is why I don't rate him. No, I've been hiding that as well. I don't like to tell people that because then they're like, wow, okay, she's not that great. Yeah, she can squat 230.
Okay, let's go back to you being great. Let's go
I
back to you
can
being
drive.
great.
I can drive.
She can drive a bit, and so
she can drive.
You
Yeah.
crashed the other day.
Off the road, I saw it was in a ditch. It was in a ditch.
I remembered, I was like, I need to tell them not to mention it.
Okay, no, she didn't.
No,
crash.
she didn't crash.
Right? But you do all these amazing things, these superhuman feats of strength, right? Where did it come from? Like, I don't want your full life story, but just give us a rundown of how the fuck did you know, or when? At what point were you like,
I'm just good at stuff.
I'm good at this, and then at what point were you like, I could be the best in the world at this, and then what makes you so great? Give us a rundown. What makes Lystus Lystus?
I'd say a few things. I'm very stubborn. Like, I'm genuinely very, very stubborn. So, like, if there's something that I want to do, like, out of stubbornness, like, I can't, like, stop until it's, like, done. Like, that's what's pushed me, I feel like, in powerlifting as well. Because, like, I genuinely could have stopped last year because it just seemed long, you know? But it's out of stubbornness. It's, like, I still have necks to, like, step on. I still have, like, dots to reach. Like, I have, like, a toll to get. So, out of stubbornness, I will still do it. So that's...
Not for the love of the sport.
No,
you just want to kill people.
Okay.
Like, again, like, I'm someone who, like, loves to do everything as well and, like, loves to do it well. So there is, like, that passion to just, like, do things. Because, again, powerlifting was meant to be just an episode in the season of my life or whatever. I was like, I'll literally do this. I'll do one comp. I'll win. I'll get my medal. I'll dip. Like, that's literally what my mindset was. And I didn't want to stay. And there was, like, a lot of reasons why I didn't want to, because I didn't want to get any bigger. I didn't want my weight to go up, you know, that typical kind of thing. And then just, like got a taste for like how strong I was. I was like, okay, cool, I'll stay a bit longer, and then you just,
And then you're in the
2.5 years later, you're still like squatting 205 for 8. So yeah.
So tell us more. How have you gotten to this stage? Like, have you found yourself squatting 205 for 8?
Were you always good at sports coming up? Or did you play lots of sports or do anything when you were younger?
I would say I did definitely go through a huge personality shift, because for the first half of my life, I was like academic. Like, that kind of work ethic came from like academia, because I wanted to be a surgeon for like most of my life. Like, I'm a high achiever, again, stubbornness as well. So I was just studying, like I was like top of my class, like out of stubbornness again, like even subjects I didn't like and I didn't want to apply to myself to, I was like, well, I just want to be the best, right? So I will just do it because like that's just how I am. Like, it's how my brain is wired. Like, I can't do something and not do it to 100%. So first half of my life, genuinely did not like sports. My brother was a sporty one, and I'd be like, how are you going outside and training and like putting yourself through that? Like, why? You could just sit at home, read a book, like take it in, do a test, and that's it. Like, we used to have arguments because he was like, no, like, why would you want to do that? So then up till college, and I did a few sports like in and here and there. I loved PE, man. PE was the Olympics for me. Like, naturally, again, the stubbornness to like, I did very much enjoy just like winning, like whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. So, and I was bad in PE because like I'm taller than everyone. I'd always like step on someone, or like I always feel bad or something, like this big man.
Bully.
Yeah. But I was a nice person. But yeah, so I did athletics for like a big part of my life, like running, did everything. Then I got into field sports, and then I got into shot put and discus, and I got really good at that, like Celtic champ or something like that.
Shot put and Lystus.
So like naturally will always gravitate towards like strength sports over anything else. Endurance is not me. Like, I remember I started athletics and they saw me, they were like, long legs, long distance. I was like, cool, okay, I'll go. I did my first race, I was gassed, right? Got into the starting position, I was like, I'm winning this. Like, there's no way I'm not winning this. And this is 600 meters, right? So I sprint, everyone's behind me, like, this is too easy, man, sprint. And then I'm like, there's still a long way to go. And everyone starts like passing me out. I'm like, I have no gas left in time. I literally like just stopped. I just stopped, like went to the side. And I think that's the first time I've ever like pulled out anything, but I genuinely couldn't. I knew that was coming. And then I was like, okay, that's not for me. I'm never doing that again. And then like gravitated towards the strength, like the throwing and the kind of field sports.
Class.
Can't remember what the question was.
So you mentioned there your brother was like very sporty and athletic. Is your family in general, would that be the case? Just high achievers across the board?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I would say especially in my, like our close family, so it's just me, my brother, my mom, my dad. And then I would say a huge reason why I am the way I am as well is because my dad was very much a driving force for that. Like, he always said to us, I think it was like almost every day, whatever you do, do it 100%. like just do it 100%, do it to the best of your ability. So that's like just ingrained in my mind. And it's definitely why me and my brother like got to such a high level in both our sports, just because our dad was like, and he's not the type that was like, just do it because I said so. He was very much like supported us. Like he would drive my brother to Dublin like twice a week. He would drive me to Wexford to training, like did whatever he had to do just to make sure like we could be the best we could be. So like I would attribute like a huge amount of my success and my mindset to like how we were brought up basically.
So the original question was what makes you this great athlete and everything. So what it sounds like is right from the get-go, it was how you were raised.
Oh, 100%.
Support from your parents, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And then that fostered a mindset of doing everything 100%. Wanting to win all the time, but I guess that probably came from a confidence that you can win.
Oh, 100%.
It wasn't like this random fucking I only want to do it if I win. It's like, oh, I can win. It's like your dad taught you is like, you know, you can win, so do your best to get there, right? So obviously that's circumstantial. Like sometimes we do things we don't win, we do a test we don't do well, but it's like in your case it was like I can win, so let me try, let me do my best.
A high like self-esteem, almost like just
self-belief and stuff.
And I think that's a really good topic because what you are told, like the people you surround yourself with are so important, man. If my dad's constantly telling me, work hard and you'll achieve what you need to achieve, that's what I'll believe. But if, you know, my friends that I'm constantly surrounding me are telling me like, you know, you're not good enough, you're stupid, like all this kind of stuff, like I'm just gonna believe it because I'm constantly being told it. So like I think that's a lesson in itself, like surround yourself with people who are going to like instill confidence in you, you know, type of way.
So this is
that's
probably
huge.
the last time I'm gonna meet you. Never talking to you
Fair,
again.
fair.
I was going to say that's a clip right there. In my brain, I'm thinking we're chopping that up, and that's going with the subtitles.
Yeah. But yeah, sick. And even we met last week, spent a few hours together, and even just after that, we were all hyped up just to do something. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. So you have your how you were raised. What else? Give us more. What about your lifestyle now? What about you now?
I think I've changed a lot, to be fair. Like how I see things and like what I want out of life as well. I feel like I'm a lot more chill about it. Because before I was definitely a tiny bit more high strung, like things had to be a certain way. But knowing that things don't go the way, like I genuinely expect things to not go the way I want them to now, which I think is so freeing. I think it's genuinely so freeing. So like I do not plan like next year. I'm not like, I need to do this, I need to do this. I'll just like kind of go with the flow.
Nice.
I think to a point I went with the flow too much, and that's like, that'll almost put you in the other direction, but like finding a happy medium. Now I would say in general, like, again, like job's not finished. I know people say that all the time, but like I've been powerlifting 2.5 years and there's still so much like I need to get done. Like I genuinely have a to-do list in my head, on my notes. I know the people I want to beat, the people I want to humble. I just need to tick them off.
Do you want to share any of that?
Chelsea.
No.
That's out there though.
Okay, yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the scenario around that. So who is Chelsea? What is the rivalry? What's the beef?
So she used to be a fan. I remember like I followed her and she was like, oh, you follow me, like I love you. Da, 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 da. I was like, yeah, she's strong, but like I followed her to keep tabs, you know, because she was coming up, she was a sub-junior. Strong, like she is strong, to be fair. Like I see a lot of myself in her, right? And we met at Junior Worlds, I think. Yeah. And we got on really well. And she did sub-juniors, I was a junior. I won, obviously, she came second. So now, 2 of those girls are coming up to the juniors, and they're like, last year I didn't have competition, let's be real. Like, it was a fairly easy win, just had to show up, basically. And then the sub-juniors would have podiumed in the juniors, because they're that strong, which is crazy. They wouldn't have bet me, but like, they still would have podiumed, right? So they're coming up. And then we just have the same kind of like, you know me, I'm always throwing digs and stuff. And then she got into that. And then she was just like, you know, I'm coming up. And she always used to say like, oh, I'm going to come second to Lystus, all this. And then I started chatting and then she was like, okay, now you're done. You know, you're done. Which I love. Like, I think that's like the essence of sport. Like, that genuinely rejuvenated me because I feel like at the end of last year, I didn't have any comps and I was just getting a bit like, oh, this is so long. Like, my back is sore. Why do I do this? I don't want to eat. Like, I'm just getting fat. Like, what is the point of powerlifting? And then this started, and I was like, oh, like I was like, okay, cool, I want to train now. Like, there's a reason to, because that's happened, I feel like all of 2023, and that put me off because like my mentality is like, there's only a certain way to win. The way I've been winning last year doesn't give me any fulfillment whatsoever. Like, that's why I would always be kind of upset, and we've touched on this before, because I feel like if I'm, like for Worlds, right, I knew going in I was going to win, so it wasn't even a goal. It was like, that's going to happen. I have all this other stuff I'm going to do. Not even in a cocky way. If you looked at the nominations, like I'd have to break my leg or something or like miss every single lift to lose, right? So the satisfaction would have never come from winning. It would have come from all the other stuff I wanted to do, right? Which I didn't get to because performance was stinker. So now having like someone where it's like, okay, it's close, it's a battle, like that's so much more exciting to watch. It's so much more exciting to be in because I've never been in like a good battle where it's like there's someone close and it's fully like a toe-to-toe and it's like, I have to pull this because she put, like I want to be a part of that so bad because I see it. I'm just like, I don't want to be like a sulky prick because I remember sulking to Sean as well. I was like, Sean, there's no one competing against me. Like, what's the point of doing this comp? And he does get it as a competitor. But I think that's so important. Like, you're only going to get your best self if there's someone chasing you.
Do you think you enjoy the beef with Chelsea because you know you can beat her? While it is close, you know that you will beat her.
In every situation, though, I believe I'm winning. So, like, it's hard to...
What if you were to beef with Sunita or something? Would you enjoy that?
Oh, 100%.
If Sunita was telling you, oh, I squat 60 kilos more than you, you're shit. Well, how would you feel about that? So do you enjoy the rivalry no matter what, or do you enjoy the rivalry because you know you can beat this person that you're beefing with?
That's a very good question. I enjoy it because of what it is. Like, I just enjoy the chat, man. Like, it's just so, like, it's just fun. Because I feel like the sport can get very boring and very dry. And I hate this whole, like, especially with girls, man. I feel like girls are all like this, like, oh, you're doing so well. Like, people you're competing, it's fake. It's so fake. Like, because I feel like with lads, like, guys get over stuff really quickly. Like, you can be like, and no one takes it like that deeply. But I've been in situations where I know how this person feels about this person. But then when they chat to them, it's like, you did so well, like that 60 kilo flew. And then you're chatting to me and you're saying like, oh, like, I'm going to destroy her, beat her, like, I hate her, all this kind of crack. So like, why be fake? You know, like I wouldn't comment under someone that I was against because like you're in the way. Like, why would I congratulate you for doing better? And the thing is, with my mentality as well, it's like I do want you to do well. I'm not preying on your downfall. I'm not like I want this person to like get hit by a bus or something. I want you to get all your attempts. So when I win, there's no excuse. Like you can't say, oh, I missed this attempt or depth and all. It's like I want you to do your best because that just exemplifies that I am just better than you. Like full stop. Like, that is a win to me.
It's quite a unique situation to be in where, say, you went to Worlds last year and you knew you were going to win by a lot. Like, your openers would have won, right? By a bit.
That's not even, it's not even a joke.
So, there's very hard to think of someone else in that situation. They come and go.
Yeah.
But, so, it's quite a unique experience for you to be able to say that, right? Like, us talking about our next internationals and the idea of medaling and all this is huge. It's actually like 3 levels here of ambition. Like I would love to medal. It's like you'd love to medal again or higher. And then it's like this is a different game altogether. It's like you want someone to challenge your medal.
100%.
Right? Yeah. So that is quite unique. And something that no one really has experience with. So it's good to hear. And then you said, you know, what happens when it's someone stronger than you? What happens when you go into the open? How do you feel about that?
That's a whole other can of worms because, again, my weight class is really tricky with that, especially because of the weight I am. Like, I'm basically in no man's land. I'm in, like, purgatory is what it feels like. And I feel like that's why I kind of got a bit iffy with training, like, I think at the end of last year, because it was like, where do I go? I can't go down because it's just not possible. Like, I'd have to cut off a leg or something. So then I can only stay in this weight class. That's a black hole. It's like if some Russian thing that's 160 kilos walks, like, what am I, like, you can't, because I believe, I'm delusional, right? I'm going to fall off this. I'm delusional, but again.
You can try.
It's like, again, we're in the real world. Like, I'm not, like, completely stupid. And physics, like, it's just physics.
Like.
Not completely.
Just
not completely. Body weight is body weight, right? So, like, if someone who's, like, 90 kilos against 160 is never going to make sense. It just doesn't. Like, why would I be against someone? And I feel like it's just, I could be like, yeah, I can work. No, like, it's just physics. Like, it's just going to be really difficult to you. So that's why it's like going into the open, it's like my only option if I want to win. Because again, I have to be 84 plus and I want to win. So like, how do those two things coincide? I have to get like bigger.
Weight.
I have to gain weight. And the first time I did that, it was good for a while and until I actually like started like gaining weight. And I was like, oh, you know, like I don't really like this. And that wasn't even enough to be in like their kind of like class, you know? So with the open, I don't know, like this year, I definitely want to focus doing more dots-based comps because there's that option. I think that's the happy medium. I can stay in the IPF. Money meets, man. Like the next Arnold's is like a money meet. It's dots-based. I can be my strongest weight. I don't have to like fit into a weight class. It's like perfect.
Yeah. Again, a unique situation. Have I ever considered a competition that was dots based because of the dots? Yeah. No, I don't know.
I'm avoiding them bad boys.
I'm fairly sure my dots will go down as when I do my competitions because I'm gaining so much weight. Yeah. But that is a cool workaround. That is a very cool workaround.
Yeah. I'd never even considered that. That was never even on my radar.
Yeah, it took a while to get to that because for a while I was actually like, I was in between. I was like, go down, go up, go down, go up. Like my weight would go down. I'd be like, okay, get to 84s. And I realized I got down to 89. Cool, but there's still another 5 kilos to go if I want to go to 84s.
For anyone listening, I'm sure everybody knows the ins and outs of powerlifting weight classes. But in the female weight classes, the heaviest is sub 84, and then it's just 84 plus. Whereas
so you'd be 200 kilos.
For males, it's 120
84
plus.
infinity is what it should be called. You can literally weigh in anything. It's ridiculous though.
And it is very early in the potential weight classes, like because 120. I think 120 still gives more room for guys. Right?
Yeah, you could go 140, like a 140 class even. Or
but like what height?
Apparently, okay, people are saying I'm 5'10". We'll say 5'9", borderline 5'10".
Okay, right. You're tall enough.
Yeah.
And you're jacked. But like,
you're not a super heavyweight.
You're not
like,
the tallest.
When you think of super heavyweight, that's like,
yeah. And you said it as well, like on your Instagram, it's like they're height classes. Like I'm tall, so naturally
you have to be in the taller ones.
Yeah.
Right?
If I have, like I started powerlifting as an 84 lifter. Yeah. So I was skinny then, like I was lean. So then it's like I had nowhere to go really. It was like basically just thrown off into the 84 plus. So
you could see like a 95.
Yeah. 95 Lystus? I've been 95.
No, like a 95 class.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be
cool.
Even sub 90, I'd take that.
What's the name of the person you're beefing with right now?
Chelsea.
And what's she weigh?
She's like 110 to 120.
You see, like that's a significant
sub junior.
Yeah.
And then the girl who won is like 140.
So it's difficult to compete in the same class as that, you know?
Yeah, I'll still beat them though because they're still kids. That's the thing. When it's your fully grown adults who's had experience with the sport and stuff and you're weighing 140, just piss off, man. That's ridiculous. Like Sania's gotten I saw her squat 290. I was like, yeah, long day.
She's got over 3.
Oh yeah, 301.
It was
301.
Yeah.
I can't do anything with 301. Incredible. I couldn't even roll it across the floor. What they expect me to do. So, but then there is that part of me, like when training goes well, I'm like, well, crunching the numbers, right? And I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, maybe this is kind of an advantage.
What is?
Because being like lighter than them, plus leverages, right? I'm like, if I get a really good pull, maybe I could kind of squeeze in there somehow.
And how you going with that?
Huh?
How you going with that real big pull?
Well, I have a deadlift session after, and that'll determine the rest of my life, genuinely.
And that deadlift session is going to go well because me and Andrew stopped you overshooting last week.
Yes.
She hit her top set, hit the RP she was prescribed, and was like,
it looks so good.
She was like, what's next? And we were like, next week.
Next week.
Dude, don't do that. You know when people try to like piggyback off your wins? Now when I win Arnold's and I get my 3K, they're going to be like, yeah, splitting it 3 ways.
Well, if you keep listening to us, yeah, you can do that. If you keep going the way you're going, you won't get piggyback off.
Not looking too good.
Yeah. To be fair, you could have been wrong though, to cap me.
Have we been wrong yet, baby? I don't think so.
They'll say
We're 1-1, all right?
I will say they are the same, like all this stuff, all the crap they chat in this about like being mature, like RP8, like stick to RP8, do your accessories. RP8. They actually are like that in real life. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, they're actually very mature.
Yeah. Real. It's almost like we've made the mistakes we talk about, and then we try to talk about them.
See, but
you don't make the same mistake.
I'm not going to make the same mistakes. It makes the exact same.
Yeah,
genuinely.
That's been as you described to me. That's been a lover boy as well. Lystus is a self-proclaimed lover boy.
Girl. Yeah. No, lover. What? What are you trying to say?
That's it. We've come out on the podcast. Title. Lystus is the boy.
She's competing under 93 at the Arnold.
That's why she's so strong.
It's all making sense. Maybe I should do that. Then I'd have a weight class if I just transfer over under 93s.
To be honest, you probably do like pretty good.
Come on. Let's be
real.
You
come like 8th at junior.
They get 6th. 8th. No, you know what's crazy? So basically, they did something on Instagram where they ranked the juniors all time. Man, I genuinely almost got. I saw 10. I was 10th overall. Almost got sick. I didn't.
Sounds about right.
Wait, who did this?
Oh, future of powerlifting. Now, great start. I think it's great to like see the rankings and stuff.
You're the 10th all time.
Yeah.
Of all.
No,
male or female?
2023 female. 2023 juniors like
Who was ahead of you?
like Alba, Tiff, like Jade, that kind of thing.
Crazy.
10 beside my name is crazy.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now that's a new goal. Be number 0. Like be
Do it.
number 1.
Do it.
100%.
That's
done.
cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. It is cool to be able to have like dots goals and things like that as opposed to just hopping into the open and being like, where the fuck do I go now?
100%.
So that's cool. So the next question was to feed off the last question, but there's like no bridge, so I'm just going to throw it at you anyway, right?
Yeah.
You are this superhuman persona, and you are social media famous in powerlifting, in the fitness scene, right? So everything everybody sees is this superhero. Everything's great. Everything's cool. You know, the posts you've been putting up lately are cool. You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a word.
Photo.
Photo.
They're sick, right? But you're a person as well, and this, you know, as much as I know this, I know Andrew's Instagram can seem sick, funny, cool, strong, all this, but it speaks to the simplest version of it is powerlifting, where we post our PBs. Like, I don't post a squat for weeks, and then I post this really cool set, and everybody's like, whoa, he's making such sick progress, and then I go right back down to 3 plates the next week, and nobody sees that shit. Because why would I post it? But it helps to see it. I know that, but it's like, I'm not going to post that shit. So then the next time someone sees me bench, it's like, whoa, but it's like they don't know my pec was fucking killing me for weeks, and I wasn't able to bench too heavy, right? So that's lifting, full stop. But then when we met last week, we were just talking about life. We were talking about everything. Beyond lifting. And it was like, it reminded me again that even this superhero, superhuman, can have the same annoying, frustrating situations that I face and that everybody faces, right? So what makes you normal? Like, tell us more about like the normal things you face that you might not post on Instagram about how annoying this is, or, you know, you mentioned to us Worlds last year how training was weird, training was annoying, you know, your mood, your psychological well-being, just everything. Like, give us some normal experiences. Bring yourself back down to
Obstacles
earth.
you've ran into where you're training, or you've had quite a lot of scenarios where you're training in like different locations, a lot of travel, like those kind of things. What sort of problems have you faced?
Man, there's actually so many. Like, I think psychologically is a huge one as well. Like, I remember, I think we talked about it briefly together, like, what's your personality outside of lifting? Because we all make it, like, our personality to an extent. And, like, I try not to. Like, I know there's other things. And I was like, yeah, I'm not that person that makes lifting my personality. Like, outside of it, I could do whatever else. And then, when lifts started going bad, I genuinely felt like I was like, okay, what do I do now? I was genuinely like, this is where, like, when my happiness was taken away from like hitting PBs and stuff, because I was in this weird phase where like lost a lot of weight and lost like motivation. I was like, I need a break. I'm gonna shift my priorities. It was like, I feel like I'm sad all the time. And I was like, whoa, like I didn't realize I was getting so much fulfillment and like, I don't know, just enjoyment from lifting, like just doing well with lifting. And then when that stopped, it was like,
Whoa. Where else is my happiness right now?
That brought me to our conversation. I was like, I was the same person who was like, yeah, no, I have other things going and da-da-da. But I was like, wow, I've actually like given my entire self. And that's another thing as well that ties into like, I think why I've gone to where I am as well, because I will put like my entire being into something, like genuinely like, it's actually, I wish a camera could follow me around because I'm genuinely psycho. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I will just be like vibrating with like energy, just thinking about stuff that's gonna happen. And like, I need
Oh, I was thinking he's gonna blow.
Not gonna what? You're getting worse than him because you like
gonna
clock
blow
it first. But like, I'll just genuinely like put like my entire, like everything into whatever I'm doing. And I did that with powerlifting. So everything else got put to the side. Everything. So then when I was like, okay, I'm going to shift my priorities, I was like, what are my other priorities? Like, what else do I do? So I was trying to find myself outside of that. And then like, yeah, psychologically, it got tough. Like, I feel like it got very, very tough like last year. And then in terms of the things you said, like training doesn't go well all the time. Like it generally doesn't. Like I will enjoy it most of the times, but there are times, like especially last year, there was just, I'm gonna refer to last year a lot. Like there was just this period where it was just, I don't know what was going on. I do know what was going on, but
What was going on?
well, yeah, I'll get to that. Anyway, it gets to the point where I was genuinely just like, it's just not enjoyable. Like squat, bench, and deadlift when you're not PR. Not even not when you're PRing, because I know there are building phases and those can be fun. That's why I love my eights, because it's like I can always push my eights. And it's not like a big, massive, like 1 rep max, but it's like still fun, like chasing that like week 1 start light and building up and I'm getting that excitement. But when training's just going bad, it's just like why am I doing this? Like I just don't enjoy it anymore. And then in terms of other struggles and stuff, I feel like normal life stuff as well. As you said, like, you know, things with relationships, with family, like just normal stuff like people go through. And I'm never gonna post that. Like I think
Crashing the car.
that didn't happen. The feds, man. Still a learner. I literally just outed myself there. But now my head's gone. I can't remember what I was talking about. Struggles. Yeah, that kind of thing. But I think I'm never gonna post that kind of stuff because I feel like, again, people have like romanticized the struggle way too much and I hate it. Like people are crying, they're like, oh, last week 82 moved at RP 10 and this week it moves at 6, my life is so hard. Like that's not inspiring, it's just cringe. Like, and you see that all the time now. So now it's like when I authentically feel something, I'm like, I'm not posting it because now it's just like this, it's just really cringe or something. Because I remember when I started, like that kind of content was only done by like a few certain types of people, and it was like genuinely a niche, and it was something that was really touching. You'd watch something and you'd be like, wow, like I felt something from that. And there was one video I posted where it was like me failing 200, like genuinely like 1,000,000 times, right? And then I get it 205 on the platform. It's like also inspiring. I love that video because it was genuinely just like, it wasn't a trend. I genuinely was just like, I remember being on the toilet making, because I was so excited. Like when I have a vision for a video, I'm like, I know this is gonna bang because like it actually means like that video, like I pinned, it's one of my favorite videos because I genuinely was just like putting my heart into it. Like I picked a song, it wasn't trending, anything like that. Just picked a Billie Eilish song that meant a lot, put some words over it. I was like, just because it was my world's performance, and it was just like, just because you fail a lift, blah, 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 all this kind of wet stuff, right? But it actually did feel like mean something, right? And I posted and it did really well, and people got a lot from it, and it was like, wow, this is so sick. But now, I'm not saying I'm the one who started it and now everyone's doing it and now it's wet, that's what I'm saying. But like, it's just become this thing that people want. I'm gonna finish my point before I lose it. But it's become this thing where people are using it just for views because they know like if you can pull at the heartstrings, you can kind of, and you can tell when it's authentic or not. I'm not saying everyone who does it is like just trying to do it for clickbait. But now it's just like, I don't want to feed into that. Like I'll just kind of leave that to kind of everyone else. So it's not something I express. Like now, I feel like as I've gained more followers and like built my brand, I do less of the more personal stuff. Just because I don't want everyone knowing what's going on behind closed doors. Not because like I don't want to show the fails, but just because like it's just the type of person I am. I'm like, why do you need to know what I'm eating for breakfast? I think that's weird.
And now we roped you into a podcast to unveil it all.
Yeah, you're putting it all out here,
So
baby.
we get the clout for it, baby! Yeah!
Just gonna put like a sad song over Lystus talking about the hard times. Got those clicks. Thank
Behind
you.
a paywall. Oh my God.
Thank you
And again,
so
like
much.
I think that like exemplifies my point because it's like now this seems more authentic because it's not something I'm always raving on about. You know that type of
We
way.
are always raving on about Andrew and I, but
In saying that, I was gonna say I do genuinely love the podcast. Like I say this to you all the time, and like I learn from it as a coach, as an athlete, and it's actually nice. Like I'm listening to it, and like I listen to it in the morning. I have my whole morning routine. I'm just listening to it because it gets me in the zone for training. It's like, okay, don't overshoot, don't overshoot. You know, it puts my head into like a good mind space, and it's even nice to catch up with you guys because obviously we don't see each other all the time.
yeah.
So like when you do the part at the start where you're like, how are you doing? I'm just like, I love this. I just love this because then you said the thing about, I don't think you brought up the piercing. Maybe you did. I can't remember. Or there was something else you brought up, and then you brought up stuff, and I was like, it's nice to know that the boys are doing well. I genuinely love that part so much. And then like you guys are like very articulate, and you explain your points well. And it's crazy, like you guys have been lifting for you're dinosaurs, man.
we actually are. Don.
I have gotten that quite a few times.
Yeah.
Even Joey gave it to me where I was like, oh yeah, so junior nationals is going to be in April. And he's like, bro, you're still a junior? He's like, we've been working together for years.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Actually,
He's like, man, we've been working together for years. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And then in the gym, tons of people being like, how are you still a junior? We're like coming up on our 8th or 9th year of lifting in general. And then, we're only...
And like, I can't believe we're all the same age. I genuinely can't get over it. It's crazy. Like, I'm literally the oldest. I'm never the oldest. That's mad. Like, in my head, you guys are like 24, 25. Genuinely, when I was surprised by you, full-ass beard, deep-ass voice, and he's like, yeah, I'm 22. When I first heard your voice, the ground shook. Like, your voice is so deep. I remember saying it to someone. I was like,
that's what it is.
Villain talking to me, like.
You ever hear Larry Wheels laugh? He's like,
troll laugh or something like that.
It's funny because I was talking to Rado about you and I said, like, your voice is just so deep. And he was like, Larry Wheels. Like, really, the exact same thing. It's mad. And then you do have like a high-pitched voice, high-pitched laugh you do that you sound like a chipmunk. Last week you were laughing on the bench and it killed me. It's crazy.
That comes out, it will. As the flow of the podcast goes on, we say more loose
Gets
shit.
high-pitched,
It'll get higher and higher. You started saying nice things there though, and I'm gonna double down on this, right? One of our surprise things, our surprise topics, because we write out some things before the podcast just to have a direction, right? And we involved Lystus in this, but we didn't involve her in some. But the main one being, we ripped the piss out of each other all the time, right? And we knew on the podcast, like straight off the bat, like you're ripping the piss out of me. So what I wanted to do was, for each of us to talk about each other and the things we like about one another.
You want to make me cry? I can't do this so
and the
much.
things that like we take from one another and like admire about one another.
That is
so you already
cute.
started by complimenting the podcast. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We enjoy making the podcast.
Genuine.
We're glad that, especially our friends as well, the people that we're close with listen to it as well. It's always nice to hear. So,
do you want to go? So I can take your ideas and then...
I'll
Nah.
I'll start.
no, we'll make the guest start. Okay. So, things about you, and to be honest, there's a lot from both of you that are similar that I take, and it's this. We talk about how the whole Kobe, MJ mentality is a bit wishy-washy, and it is. It's hard to apply to everyday life, right? But it's still infectious, right? It's still hard to watch MJ or watch David Goggins talk and not feel a little bit of a like, I can do more, or I can do what I want to do. I don't have to have fucking 6 NBA championships. I don't have to be world champion tomorrow or at the next meet, but I can do my best, right? So as long as it's centered in that, I think it's healthy to take from these things and these people. And both of you are amazing athletes, right? And both amazing athletes in your strength expression, cool, right? Fortunately, you have the potential to be really strong. That's cool. But just, you are always working and you're always persevering. And that's infectious. The constant pursuit. The constant pursuit.
My brand, Constant Pursuit. That's why I called it that. I'm gonna start crying. That is actually, that's crazy. I'm gonna clip that and like just have it.
He had that one written out.
Constant pervert. What? Constant pervert.
Man was just spitting bars. I was like, no, that's still sick. He thought of that.
Constant
GPT
pursuit.
ass over here, fucking write me a speech for this.
No, this is close. And the constant persevering through difficulty as well. That's even better. I was saying I watched Creed 2 again last night to Lystus, and one of the things that's so emotional about it is his relentless pursuit through difficulty. It's cool to see someone winning, but it's when it's difficult to get there that's infectious. And you guys constantly working, especially you. It's like Andrew and I are chirping back and forth all day. And it's like he's constantly doing something. And it's like, sure, the things we do might not be identical, right? Your coaching serves a little bit different, nutrition and all this, and then I have college. But I feed off of you constantly doing things. He sent me like his next project that he's putting out, and there's just so much to it. It's like, this guy's just working. It's like, well, obviously now I can do it because someone so close to me is doing it, and I feed off it, so.
How the fuck am I supposed to follow that now? What the? First of all, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was really nice to hear. And I would say, likewise, back to you, that would be one of the things that I admire about you is like your ability to express those things. And I think that has rubbed off on me in a sense, like our friendship
Yo.
together.
There he is.
Hey.
But being able to express those things, like how much you appreciate the friendship or like that role that you've played, because I know for myself, through say all of the stuff that just life, the turmoil, the ups and the downs, like we've been very close friends since our very first competition, all the highs and the lows. Throughout it all, you would be the person that I would come to bounce ideas off, or the shoulder to cry on, or any of those kind of things. And you're always there support. Sometimes it's a bit of tough love, sometimes it's gentle. I don't know if it's psychology tricks that you're doing there. But yeah, no, I appreciate the role that you've played in my life that has meant a lot. And then it has shaped the person that I want to be, and being able to express those things back to you. And then also, worth noting, since we've known each other since our first competition, you were like the initial inspiration for me, I would say, where for anyone who doesn't know, when we first started out, like 16-year-old kids, Andrew was significantly stronger than I was, like way stronger. I'd say he totaled 100 kilos more than me at our first competition. And I thought I was the shit back then.
Yeah.
So that was like the first slap of reality of like, okay, humble yourself.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I was like chasing you. I was like, I want to get to the level that this guy is. And as we've grown together, yeah, that vice versa to you, the work ethic that we've both cultivated together has been important to me.
I know.
Lads, I'm
We're-
here
we're-
too, you know.
And then I was going to get on to you. And I was going to say the very same thing, where like when we started chatting, we have so many things in common, where like an unbelievably amount of things
crazy.
in common, even
Yeah.
to the point that we studied the same thing in college. We dropped out of college at the same time to pursue.
My mind.
Yeah. So like our daily routines, again, obviously there's some differences, but our lives are structured very, very similarly.
Yeah.
And seeing the work ethic that you've put in, and the place that you've grown to, has been quite inspiring for me to try follow suit. And again, when if I'm feeling like slacking off, I'm going, what would Lystus do? She's out here grinding, she's doing 100 different things at once. I can definitely get to work again. So yeah, vice versa, the same to you.
That is crazy, because
been a
like
big
I
source of
feel the
inspiration.
exact same about you. And like I can attribute like a lot of like my like uptakes in training because of stuff you said to me. Like I remember we were chatting, this was when I was living in Italy. Like I literally remember the specific things you'd say and where I was, and like Andrew just sending me voice notes. I'm just being like, training is so annoying, like this and this and this. And he'd always tell me about the pillars and like you need to sleep. And I'd be like, no, I don't need to sleep, Andrew. You don't understand. It's about my technique and I need to fix this. And you're just so like, nah, you need to eat and it's the pillars and this and this and this. I was just so like, I remember being so like this. It doesn't fly with me, because like for me, I'm very much like 100% to the fact where it's like unhealthy. Like I will just stay up doing something and instead of like prioritizing being like a healthy human being. So then having this like mentality like introduced to me, because I don't think anyone would like say those kind of stuff to me. I was kind of like, I don't need more sleep. I need to be awake. I need to be grafting. And you say all this stuff to me, and then I remember like doing it, like trying it, because it's like I'm open to just being better, and doing it, and it actually worked. And I was like, wow, okay, cool.
He's not an idiot.
Maybe he knows what he's saying. And then like even other stuff, you're just so wise, man. It's actually crazy. Like if I had a life coach, it would be like Andrew Blackwood, 100%. Like he's just so like, I genuinely say to everyone I meet, like it's actually so bad, but I'm just like, Andrew just gets it, just gets life. He's like God or something. Like,
He has ascended.
And the way
There's
he-
no higher compliment. You are God, brother.
and the way he says it as well, like anytime he gives you advice, it's so loving. It's never in a like, what are you doing, man? Like it's very much like I'm genuinely just trying to help you. That's why I'm telling you. And I love that as well, because like when you're like, when things are going wrong and stuff, you're already like, you're beating yourself up. You don't want someone who's gonna tell you like, just cop on. Like, so like you say it in a very loving way, which is like, I love so much. So that's what I would say about you. And why my deadlift is going so well is because of something you said. And I will say it to everyone, because like I'm like,
Was that it? Giving,
yeah,
giving
yeah.
space, it's about-
Giving yourself enough room to hinge. I was just like, this is revolutionary. I don't think people know this though, because some stuff is so basic. Like that's the thing. You just say it. Just give yourself enough room to hinge. She's like, I do this thing where I like step away from the bar a bit, and I'm like, what?
I do this thing where I just like actually just give myself space to sit down.
Yeah. And then I'm here thinking of the trigonometry. I'm like, the angle of my foot, like 20 degrees, and I'm like getting onto this, and Andrew's just like, just give yourself enough space, man. Like, it's not that deep, dude. And I do it, and then I remember I got it once because like I saw my lifter doing something similar, and I was like, you know when you get that, I promise you, anytime like my training, it's just like this moment where it's like, oh, like the colors, this, everything is just like, it just works. And I'm like, get me in a gym right now. It's
Yeah.
over for everyone. And that's how easy it is. Cause like, I remember I was in the very like, what?
Last night I hit like a good deadlift set for the first time in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I was sending Andrew like pictures, like the stories you put up.
Yeah.
You know what, you put up stories and there's like loads of like pictures around it. It was like Captain America being like in the elevator, he was like, before we start, anybody want to get out and all. It was like, it was so good.
To express yourself, man. I love memes. Cause like it's hard to put stuff into words, but like a picture will say everything you need to say. Oh my, I love it. Like I love the meme of the girl, and it's like a burning building, it's just smiling. That describes my mentality. Because when something clicks, I'm like, I'm burning the IPF to the ground. Genuinely, like that's the feeling I get. So it's always nice when that happens. So that's your thing. Your thing, since like we've only known each other like a short amount of time, you are so like, there's so much depth to you, I feel like, is what I would say. And you wouldn't think it, 100%. Like, again, like when, I'm just obsessed with my friends, so I'm always telling everyone, like, Ro did this and da. But I'm like, I'm so surprised because like off the bat, you just look like an Adam. Basic, white, like posh.
Adam Phillips.
It's a phrase, but I want to say Adam Phillips, but like you just look, just
Plain.
yeah. Like you could, like, I was like, I don't feel like we'd get on because usually I could tell just based off what you look like. So again, being very stereotypical, but not in
We'll
like
get into that topic later.
Actually, let's just move on. Segue. But let me finish my compliment. But like so much more. I like anytime we get on, like I remember last week we were just like playing tunes, and I love like asking like, what's your favorite artist? Because I feel like that's how you get to like know people, like what they listen to. Man listens to Giveon, and like not even just like, oh yeah, I listen to Giveon. Man was singing the lyrics. I was like, oh my goodness, he's a proper like lover boy, and I was like, wow, like it just like, and then even like you have like a serious side as well. Even though like most of it is like jokey and stuff, like we were chatting about stuff, and like you were actually like saying stuff that was like very mature, and I was like, oh okay, there's like layers, you know. I love people like that. You're just uncovering them. So I feel like we'll be friends for a while. I think like for me that's huge because like I don't like to be friends with everyone. It's like your circle is important. But I think this trio is nice because like I get a lot from it.
That's what I was gonna say as well. Like that whole cliche saying of you're the average of the people you spend the most amount of time with and all kind of things like that. Oh, this is a pretty good group if you ask me.
I remember when I was younger hearing that, and I always thought I was just impermeable to all psychological effects of life, right? Psychosocial effects. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, I can transcend that. It doesn't matter who I'm friends with. I'm still going to be me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're going to be you and your soup is going to have their ingredients in it.
Listen to episode 6 if you don't know.
Right? So yeah, I enjoy this soup.
This is good soup, man.
It's great soup.
This is good soup.
This is really good soup. So we touched on a few things there.
Yeah.
We did touch on a few things there. There's 2. Do you want to go straight into that one, or will I go for another one first?
Go for another one first.
Okay.
I'm trying to put off the big. So anyone who's at this point of the podcast, you better keep listening because there's a heavy hitter coming at the end.
There is. What we're going to do first is, now that we're all friends again, because at the start of the podcast, Lystus was like, boom, boom.
Wait, we're friends now. Just because I said a few nice things. We're friends.
Straight back at it.
Oh, bro. Okay. What we were going to say, though, is last week we were sat at the table and we were talking about things. And what we came to realize was a lot of the things that we discuss on the podcast or that we post on social media are things that we presume people won't know or won't think about often or won't know very well or isn't discussed. But you know what really isn't discussed is like the raw basics, right?
Oh,
now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, you know, try rest after your session or like try sleep, you know, not the very like minimal things, but just like what are some of the things, because we are all international level athletes. There has to be things in our lives that we take for granted that we do, habitual things that are second nature, subconscious, or we don't think they're a big deal. But there are things that we can attribute a lot of our success to that aren't present in other people's lives, where you're talking to your lifters or your friends, or you realize, like recently, right? I'm going to go first, right? Shout out to my mom, right? My mom makes so much food in the house, right? But it got to the point where she texted me asking, had I eaten yet in the morning? She was like in work, I was off college. So I was at home and she's like, have you eaten yet? And I was like, no, like my mom cares so much that not only is she making food,
Yeah.
She's making dinner. She's making meats to have in the fridge cooked and all this. But it's like she's concerned enough to the point that I'm having enough calories in the day to gain weight because I've expressed the interest to her, right? So first of all, incredibly fortunate and appreciative of my God, amazing angel-like mother, right? But that's something that not everyone has, and that cannot be overlooked. As for me as a coach or lifter, that I have someone who cares so much that's helping with my food in that way, right? So that's first. That's like one angle. But then secondly, even just paying attention to your bulk, like getting up and making sure you've eaten, and you're not leaving all your food to the end of the day. They're the kind of things.
Yeah.
So what comes to mind when I ask that question?
The first one that came to mind for me was drinking. So maybe there's different levels of drinkers at this
You looked at both of us.
So like I don't drink a lot. I'd say less than 5 times a year maybe I'll drink. But when I do drink, I drink. But that would kind of only be like after a competition. After a competition, you'll have like a big night out and it's all very fun. But outside of that, don't really drink at all. That's not all that common. And even like saying that, say I'll drink after competition, I was a little bit surprised from international competitions, the lifters who just don't drink at all. A lot of the very best lifters, like the world champions, just don't drink, full stop. They've never drank, they've never even had a drink in their life. And they're like, say, 23 years old, and they've just never gone near it. And I was like, oh, I almost like couldn't comprehend that. And I was like, well, maybe that's why you're better than me. Like, you just never, your life is just that dialed in and geared towards training that you never have those little distractions or so on. But even for ourselves then, there's not times where I would ever even consider just going out on the weekend. So I think that can help quite a lot. And just even from, say, working with people, and this is not to say drinking is bad, because you would probably drink more than I would. I think you.
Ashton Ruska drinks a lot of beer.
There's
like, and I was so surprised. I was like, he's so like strong. Like he's just like bolo. Again, he's the definition of bolo. Like he's bolo. Look it up in the dictionary.
He's also like the American dream. Like the eagle is like behind him, and it's like
and he's like smashing them together.
And he's bench pressing beers.
I was surprised by that.
But yeah, you don't drink too?
No, like again, it's the same as you. Even if I drink, it's not that much.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy.
Where there's a lot of people who would, like it is very normal for them to go out drinking every weekend, which again is not to say there's anything right or wrong in that circumstance, but that is definitely something that could be inhibiting your training to a significant degree. That was the first thing that came to mind for me.
For me, there's a few things. So I would say understanding like your strengths and your weaknesses is huge. I would say mindset for everything first, like just like self-talk, like how you talk to yourself, blah, blah, that's all like wet stuff. But I mean like in terms of just like your perception of like who you are and like what like motivates you, what drives you, because that's important. Because if you can like lean into those things, or if you know your weaknesses, you can prepare for them, if you get me. So I know one of my big weaknesses is that say for my bulk, right? I know my big weakness is that I do not like eating in the morning. So that would like throw me off, because then again, at the end of the day, I'm just like, I have so many calories to eat, so I'm trying to eat so many calories. And then it's like, that's affecting my sleep, because like my sleep quality, because then I'm just digesting food as I'm sleeping, and it's harder to go to sleep because like I'm wide awake because I've just eaten like 50 kilos of bread. Like, I'm like, why can't I sleep? And then that affects training, and that's just this whole cycle. So that was happening for a while. And then like, for me, again, I overanalyze every single thing I do, every waking second of the day. So I connected the dots, because I was like, okay, deadlift's going bad. This is because technique. This is because I can't focus. This is because of sleep. And then it all tracks back, right? So I feel like last year, stuff going bad was actually a good thing, because I've learned so much for this year. Like, this is how I'm structuring my day and everything, just so I know. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. But knowing what your weaknesses are so you can actually prepare for them. Because I knew like I wasn't eating in the morning. I was like, why am I struggling to get all my calories in? And then I'm gagging and I don't want to eat. So then I realized, I was like, okay, I need to get up earlier. So I have...
Sorry.
I was... No, do you know what? I was going to ask that. That was going to be one of the questions. I was like, oh, because you're someone who's on the bulk as well. Do you ever get the gags? And then I was like, I'm going to have to specify, do you ever get the gags from eating? Because of this fucking guy.
What? Because of me? What do you mean? What else would you get them from?
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, sorry.
You're like,
what else would you get the gags from? The fuck?
That was a huge thing, and that put me off the bulk, and that's why I lost so much weight. So I was like, I need to reevaluate how I'm doing everything. So a huge thing that was setting my whole day off in my training was just not eating. Like I would wake up and not eat for the first like 6 hours of the day. Okay, 6 hours is a bit long, but like 3-4 hours of the day, just because I prefer to like get work done and stuff. So I was like, okay, this needs to be fixed because this is actually offsetting my whole training. So I was like, okay, I need to wake up. I need to take a walk in the morning, just so I feel like I've done something and I earn my food. Because I feel like that's what my mentality is for some reason. It's like you have to earn your food in the morning. But even just like be awake, like I don't want, I was gonna say put anything in my mouth in the morning. I'm catching it now, I'm getting used to it. But in the morning, I'm still defrosting. Like I don't want to like force myself to eat anything. Like I'm not a morning person, right? Like I have to force it, right? So for the first hour of the morning, I'm just like, I'm literally eyes closed. I'm just like, I can't. Like, I'm literally forcing myself to become a morning person. So that's why. What's everyone laughing at?
Sorry, I'm still
Just
stuck.
laughing at him, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so in the morning, I had to make sure I was getting a good morning routine where I was getting into a routine so I could get fit in like eating in the morning. So what I would do, man, I need to like. This is why I wanted to bring. You're genuinely worse than him now.
I don't even know. You shouldn't even say anything bad. I'm just still laughing.
It's like being in class and you're trying not to laugh and your buddy's like,
For no
go on,
reason.
go on.
I don't remember what the point was. Yeah, basically, I know my weakness is that I can't eat in the morning. So I was like, okay, I need to go out. I need to like walk for a bit. I need to get my steps in. So like I actually get the feeling of hunger. It's like I've done something to deserve the calories, right? Yeah. That sounds like really bad mentality. The veins on his head are actually ridiculous.
Let it out, let it out, let it out. Get it out, get it out, get it out. Do you want to do,
I'm gonna fall off.
Let's do something funny. Let's do something funny to get it out, okay?
No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
You done? Go on, you have to. No, you're not done, you're not done. Your eyes are still like...
I'm crying. I'm actually crying.
That's actually. Nah, man, this is actually ridiculous.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you have to earn your food. I'm gonna get sick.
We need to break the laughter with something. Okay. Okay, the gags, maybe? The gags, Andrew?
Yeah.
Come back to us. Okay?
I'm here. I'm here.
Think of Willow. She's probably just waiting for you to come home.
Okay. That's gonna keep happening.
I'm in
so.
shock.
Yeah, you have to earn your food. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll
Your
go past the whole
weaknesses.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I understand that weakness, so I've literally like offsetted my whole day and like I've changed. I've been able to like basically prepare for that so it's not a weakness anymore. Full stop, done, moving on.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's something I would say.
Perfect. Some of the things that...
Even Mario's laughing.
It's just that it's like breaking the seal. It's gone now. It's out. What are some of the things that we do? Meal timings you're talking about, right?
Huge.
But probably like the foods I eat going into training.
Mm-hmm.
The foods I eat going into training, like it took years for me to figure out what I feel ready to train off of.
Yeah, it's
right?
crazy, isn't it?
And that's you forget that. Like you have a new sign up, they're new to powerlifting, they've been lifting 6 months, and you know, they send you that they've had like 3 chicken fillet rolls before training, and it's like, man, I was shitting myself during squats. What's going on?
I wonder
Is it the
why.
way I'm bracing? I think I'm gonna need to stop wearing a belt or whatever. It's like, no, like I just didn't realize you were eating like 5 tubs of mayonnaise before yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Or the people who don't eat, like girls, like I'd be like, okay, let's just chat, kind of see what you're doing outside of training. That's important as well. And I'm like, okay, so what would you eat before training? It's like, oh, you're supposed to eat before training. I was, oh no. And it's like, oh, I have no energy while I train. Like I can't focus. Well, this is probably why. Like you want to get like carbs into you. And it's something that seems really basic, but then again, it's like no one really kind of talks about it. It's never at the forefront. You know, there's stuff people are like, you know, technique and like fatigue management, but there's like basic stuff during the day that will help with focus. Again, sleeping is a huge one. That we like everyone's like, yeah, I sleep, but sleep quality and sleep timing is important as well. It's not just sleeping. Like if you're sleeping at 3 a.m. to like say 10 is 7 hours, but it's not the same 7 hours as 10 to whatever 7 hours besides because can't do that. It's not the same because you're not getting the same sleep quality. If you're on your phone and glued to screens, that's going to affect your sleep quality. If you're waking up the first thing you look, it's going to affect your sleep quality. So even things like that, like honing into like not just I'm eating enough calories. Are you eating enough protein? Are you eating at the right times? Like, are you eating too close to bed? All those things come into play. I wouldn't say like as a beginner, there are things you should worry about because there's obviously technique and like fatigue management are just way more important. But as those beginner gains just start like going down slowly, I think those things take more priority. And I remember I was saying this to my girls. I was like, when you start, a lot of your gains is going to come from like having a coach and the excitement and like the program works really well because it's new stimulus and like you're getting into a routine where like all of that is going to like you're just going to be hitting PRs every block and then it's going to stop. And it's so funny because like it's something I'm realizing now having girls like over a year now, right? And they just expect at the end of every block is a PR, right? Like they just expect it because that's what's been happening. And I'm like, okay, now we have to realize like that's just not going to happen for the rest of your life. Like we need to make sure we're managing fatigue properly. You know, we're eating enough. Like we're taking into consideration what you're eating before training. Like you're warming up. All this stuff is like they're all clocking it in deep, and they're like, oh, I actually have to warm up now because like you know I'm stronger than before. I'm gaining more weight. I have to loosen up. All this kind of thing. So I think those things are really important when like you're intermediate to advanced. And when you're advanced, those are the most important things.
So
I would say.
just to build off of that, I would say my own coaching philosophy, I would say those other things are probably, they're more basic and they're more important in the beginning. That's why I did a nutrition course so that I could like be certified in nutrition coaching because I feel those things like sleep and nutrition and stress management, they affect every area of your life, not just the stuff that's happening in the gym. In my opinion, the stuff in the gym is the easy bit. That's the bit that everyone likes doing. That's why they're in powerlifting. So I have more of an emphasis on those bits outside of the gym because I just feel your sleep quality, that's just going to carry over to your like general mental well-being, how good you feel when you get up out of bed. If you're running on 6 hours sleep every single day, you probably just feel shit. And maybe you get used to feeling shit all the time and that becomes your baseline. But like when you are consistently getting 7, 8, 9 hours sleep a night, you feel like a superhero. So I almost value those more than the stuff going on inside of the gym, just because I know the carryover that has to your life in general, your life as a whole. So those like nutrition things as well. It's just so important to how you feel day to day. So yes, like those things are really important, and I feel they get neglected all the time.
100%, yeah.
Or coaches, I've talked to coaches before, like other coaches that I respect, and I've asked them about that. I've got like a frog in my throat from all the laughing. Anyway, I've asked them about that, and they were like, yeah, but like people should get that. If you don't know that you should be sleeping 8 hours a night, that's on you, bro. I'm very resistant to that idea. Like, they would be extremely important in my coaching. And that's why, for anyone wondering about my coaching, I don't offer training without nutrition. So it's like a package deal that it is training and nutrition, because in my opinion, the nutrition side of things is the engine behind the stuff that you're doing inside of the gym. And I could give you a training program and we're doing sets of 8 and we're doing a shit ton of accessories and you have no idea about anything to do with food and you're not eating enough calories and you just ran yourself into the ground for 4 weeks of a training block and you didn't get any new muscle tissue or any positive adaptations that we were looking for. And if I just gave you the sets and reps on a spreadsheet and didn't worry about any of the other stuff, I have no idea if we're moving in the right direction. So that's my training philosophy anyway. So I would say paying attention to those pillars outside of the gym is extremely important.
And that's something I got from you that I instill in my own training and my own coaching as well. Because now if a problem arises, I know it's most likely to do with like outside. It's nothing to do with like probably what you're doing with the gym. Like if someone's like their knee is this, I'm like, it's probably something we can fix that's outside, like that's happening in your life. So it's not just like, we have to change technique, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, let's see. Are you sleeping enough? Like, are you eating? It's questions. It's the answers usually no. So I'm like, do that first and then let's see if we can change anything else. It's always a huge
something I was interested to get your guys' opinion on is like sleep. So like what is your like sleep routine? Because for myself, I think we talked about this like briefly and it was kind of an interesting topic that I had never considered before, where when I'm going to bed, myself and my girlfriend will just chat for maybe like 15, 20 minutes and then fall asleep. It's a pitch black room. Everything is nice and quiet. You're not on your phone. you're not on your screen.
Yeah.
If there's ever a time we're not staying together, I'll be on my phone and I'm like, oh, how do I go to bed now? When do I switch off? Do I just put my phone down and then I'm awake looking at the ceiling going, okay, when do I fall asleep? Like, what is the story?
Single, what do you guys?
Yeah. So like, what is the actual process there? Because that's something I never considered that does play such a significant role. A thing that I have done whenever that situation does arise is that I play the alphabet game. So what I will do is, it's a game, right? It gets it. Oh my God, it knocks me out after playing like one round of this, right? You pick a category. So it might be countries. Countries is my go-to. I love it. And you think of all the countries you can, beginning with A.
I like
so Azerbaijan, Armenia, Albania, blah, blah, blah. You run through them. B, Belgium, whatever, Bratislava, all the things that you could come up with.
Bro chose some of the countries I've never heard of.
How many times do you think I played this game, man? And I'll run to you. By the time you get to Z, man, you're unconscious.
You get to Z?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go through it and then you're still awake and then you have to choose.
Is there any for Z?
Zanzibar, stuff like that. Yeah.
You're the one with the degree.
In what? What do you think I have my degree in? I go into my psychology lecture and they're like, Z today. Z countries.
Yeah.
No.
But that is, or you go, okay, things you find in the dentists, and you have to go A through Z, and bam, I run through that, and knocks me out like a light.
I'd love to live in his mind, man. It seems like such a happy, colourful place.
I'd love to go to bed with him, man. Play the alphabet game.
Albania, here we go. I mean,
That's so opposite to what I do. I like put on sad music, listen to Billie Eilish, just start crying and fall asleep.
Oh God.
Just the heartbreak.
But what do you do? How do you decide, okay, it's bedtime? Do you have a routine where you set an alarm and go, okay, it's the bedtime alarm, I need to put my phone away or put it on night shift?
I do have a routine.
Yeah.
I have to. Because I'm naturally a night owl. So if there's no routine in place, I'm staying up till 4 a.m., 100%. Like, and I've trained myself to be like that. I said as well before, when I was like academic and stuff, like I'm very much like, I will spend every waking hour at something. So that's what I used to do. So basically when I was in secondary school, I'd come home from school around 3, I'd eat something, I'd take a nap for like 2 hours and stay up till like school was, like I'd stay up studying and like doing stuff and then go straight to school with like no sleep. And I would do that for like a significant amount of time. Like I was just crazy. And I enjoyed it as well, like that's why I could do it, but like I was just stayed up. So now like I actually have reset my body clock and it's something I have been struggling with, like even, I'd say my first year and a half of training, like before obviously like we were friends and stuff, I would stay up, like I would genuinely just have my life where I'd be the one awake, like cooking my steak at like 3 a.m. and everyone else is asleep. And then I'm asleep like during the morning or whatever, just because like that worked for me and I worked on my laptop so it didn't really matter. And then like Andrew would say stuff and then I'd read my own stuff. It's like, yeah, you're taking years off your life. I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I should fix this.
Oh, because I remember that when I would like say it initially, you're like, yeah, I actually just function better off like 2 hours sleep.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, you do?
You do.
Fascinating.
I was like, I've hit PRs on 4 hours of sleep. It's not.
Well, you were saying your training's going so bad. I wonder what.
Like, no, I nearly have the technique down. Like, it's actually just, I swear, like the technique, I got it.
I got it out a little bit more.
I need more degrees. I need to wear my belt at the specific placement. It's like, you're not listening to me, Andrew.
Are you still wearing your belt?
No, I took it off. I actually do just wear it around. But anyway, yeah, so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try, and it took a long time, like, because it's just like the way I am now. So now, like, on prep and like, it's just like tunnel vision. Like, I will leave no stone unturned. Like, I want to be on the podium and be like, I literally couldn't have done anything different.
I like that.
So now it's like, I have to make sure I'm in my room at least an hour and a half before I go to bed. Like, because if I'm like just straight out of the kitchen, it's like I need buffering time to just like deep my surroundings, like vibe a bit, listen to some music. So I need to make sure I'm in my room by a specific time and then make sure I'm in bed like an hour before like I actually want to fall asleep, because that's the only way I can like proper wind down, whatever. Off Instagram before I'm in my bed. And I can only listen to music, so I'll have my headphones on. I could just listen to music and visualize and stuff, and then I kind of just like fall asleep. But if I mess with that, then it's just like, it's a cycle as well. Because you know, if you get up a bit later, and then it's like you're going to sleep later, and it's just so I need to make sure like I'm just on it. And then I can wake up at the same time.
Will you fall asleep listening to the music? Like, will that stay playing?
Yeah, so basically in my room is my sanctuary. I have LED lights, so I put on the red ones. And then it's just like puts me into it's like, okay, this is like sleepy time. I'll listen to some music. And then right now it's just like a lot of Billie Eilish, like heartbreak, kind of like lover girl kind of vibe. I'll listen to it. and then I'll turn off the LEDs when I kind of feel a bit sleepy because I don't want to leave them on because
Yeah,
then it's just
burn acid.
electricity. Yeah, exactly. And then when I get the first wave of sleep and I wake up and I'm like, okay, then I turn off the music because I don't want to fall asleep listening to music.
I would fall asleep like watching YouTube. I'd have like there's just a phone beside me, and then autoplay on YouTube. And you wake up at 3 a.m. and you're in a pit of something god awful. Like,
2003
what the-
WrestleMania, Squirrel enters arena, and you're like,
Man, it'd just be like Creed montages for you on our YouTube video, like on the channel when I go in to like update any stuff.
for 2 Andrews on
Right,
Barbell.
in the history of the YouTube channel for 2 Andrews 1 Barbell, it is all Creed montage. Creed 1 a motivational video,
love
Creed
this
2
guy, man.
motivational
I
video.
love
This
this guy,
guy's
man.
logging into the YouTube to watch Creed videos.
It's like I forget to log out, and I'm like, then I go on to YouTube, and I'm like, oh. How does it know though?
No, anyone watching, right? If you haven't watched Creed, watch the movie, and I promise you, you're adding 30 kilos at least to every single lift. I promise.
I'm gonna
Like,
add to that. I'm gonna add to that. Start with Rocky 1.
no,
Okay?
no, don't.
Dude.
I haven't watched Rocky yet.
Yeah, you need to though.
I feel like if you're born after a certain time, right, you have to watch Creed first, or else you won't get Rocky. Because Rocky's old. It's like,
Have you watched Rocky?
no.
You
I'm saving it for Arnold's. I'm saving it for Arnold's. Because obviously the only reason we all wanted to watch Creed was Michael. Let's be real. We saw the abs. We said, okay, don't care what the movie's about. Gonna watch it. And then it's so good. Like, it's such good training motivation. Like, I remember watching it, and you get up and you're like,
You actually want to start boxing. Like,
I genuinely want to. I remember I watched it before I went into PE the next morning. I don't think we did. No, it was crazy. I think literally the next day we did.
I went in and I just punched this girl so hard.
I was close to you. I was
my teacher
close
asked
to
where
you.
my English was. I was like, oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
It puts you in the zone because it's very much that thing you said about like resilience. It's like you get down, you get this. Man's like, I can't see, bro. He literally can't see, and everyone's telling him get down, and he's like, no. He can't get up, and he's like, no, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna keep fighting. He gets up, and then you know what's like the best part? Like the guy who was like winning and knocked him out is literally like shocked. He's like, why are you? Like I'm actually getting it. I'm actually getting like. You know, like I want to train. I am going to train after this, but like, it just hits different.
It does.
It's so
I'm
good.
surprised. Have you watched it?
No, he hasn't.
Man, you'd enjoy it. It's good.
It's
See,
actually good.
I don't know about those fake fighting movies, man. I just thought.
Fake.
Just try it. Just watch it.
What does he mean by fake?
Don't worry. Don't listen.
Okay.
Just try it. Just try it.
Okay, I'll try.
Definitely not going to.
Nah, I will one day. When I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel, like I'll
No.
Fuck you.
We'll force him to. We'll take him to cinema.
Yeah.
Right. Are we going to beat around the bush to avoid the
No.
Did we go?
No.
Okay, jump in. I'll let
So
you.
this was an interesting one for me, right?
Yeah.
Because there are 2 things that fall under one topic that you can talk about that we can't.
Yeah.
Right? Andrew finds it hilarious. I
No,
think
good
he's-
intro, good intro. No, your handle's better than I could.
Okay, he's just a little bit scared of the topic. Understandably. Okay? Overarching topic is prejudice, your experience with it, and the 2 subtopics being race and gender. Okay? We are 2 pasty white dudes from Dublin.
Yeah.
I've
All the
experienced with neither. Okay? So, break it down for us. What comes to mind as an athlete specifically, but also in your lifestyle as well?
I would say, I think. Wait, what are the 3 things?
Prejudice in general, and the 2 branches of it being race and gender that you're gonna.
Yeah, because those are 2 big things. I think I'm a niche. I've always said this. Like black females in lifting is it's a crazy niche. Like there's literally no one. There's quite literally I could count them on my fingers. Like, so that's a thing in itself. I would say with race, I cannot lie. I've been nice with it. Like I don't know. Like the communities I'm always around. Like I've never actually had like blatant like racism. Like I can't even think of a time, which I'm blessed for because I know there are people in Ireland who have dealt with it. Even recently, like the whole thing that happened in Dublin, like that was just scary. But I think there's like subtle racist things as well. And people expect you to be a certain way just because like I'm a black female, like a bit more aggressive or something, which is fairly true to be honest. Where it's come from. So there's that. And then as a female, I would say men. Like it's just like the stuff about like unsolicited advice is so true. The amount of times like I put something on my story like I'm struggling with deadlifts because that's always a thing, and a man would just send me like a video of himself deadlifting. I'm like, what's that? Genuinely, a person I do not know, like, or like handstands or something. It's like, do this, try this. Okay, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Like, I said, like, who are you? Stuff like that. But then again,
Mansplaining.
mansplaining.
Thank you for explaining that, Andy.
Do you know what that is? I'll explain it if you need.
Now, right.
Ah,
I have something that's outing myself, right? But I always say mansplaining is okay if you're laying. Like, if you're good looking, you can explain anything to me. I think that's really attractive.
If you know better than me, it's like, you tell me.
It's fine, yeah. Mansplaining is attractive if you're laying. But if you're not...
if you're ugly, man, get out of here. Shut up, you ugly man.
Exactly. Pretty privilege exists. What did you ask? Like female, black. I would say...
I guess, how do those two characteristics influence your experience as a lifter?
See, I know this sounds like a bit wishy-washy around the bush. I do not see myself as black or... And more so as a female. Like, I wouldn't... It's not something I'm like, wow, I'm walking into this space and I'm black. Like, I'm black and you're white. Like, it's not something I ever really consciously think about. Unless maybe, like, I'm going... Okay, if I'm going into a new space, it's like scouting, like, how many black people are here? That's just a thing black people do. But, like, in general, I just don't really see myself different to anyone else. I feel like everyone has the same opportunities. But I do believe that's because of the people I surround myself with. Like, I wouldn't feel the same way if I was around a different community of people. You know what I mean? I would say social media based, I think it is a lot harder to grow as a black female, I would say. Like, I've had, this is a controversial topic, but I've talked with it because, like, I have another friend and she's like Instagram and stuff, posting all this kind of thing. And it's like, like, everything's there. We're really strong, personable. Our stuff is good, but we're not growing as much as someone who's just like the basic kind of just white girl. Like, there's girls who are blowing up who are like squatting 60. There's nothing wrong with squatting 60 is what I'm saying, but they're not giving the personality and like the strength and as we are. So we're like, it's kind of confusing that you're just doing better. Now, there's a lot of factors that come into play there, but it just seems like a kind of recurring kind of thing. Especially with like specific brands, it's like you're only like taking on specific type of people, that kind of thing. So when it comes to stuff like that, that's where I'm more aware of it. But again, it's not something that really holds me back in terms of the race thing, I would say. Female thing, I think it's just like with training, I've taken it more on board than before. Because I was just like, men, women, all the same. Like, I remember Mark Stell told me, okay, so basically, I discovered that volume was really good for my squats, right? And I was doing sixes and eights. So I hit 160 for 8. Mark Stell comes up to me and he's like, I remember when I hit 160 for 8, I squatted 200 for the first time. I was like, done, say less. I was like, for me, that meant sorry, I hit 150 for 8. If I hit 160 for 8, like Mark Stell said, I'm hitting 200. Like, that was fact. And then I did it. And then, like, that was, like, my goal. I was like, that's a fact. And I didn't take into account that he's a man. Like, he's a man.
And he's Mark Stell. Like, he's
Mark
just...
Stell.
Explain that one, because for some people that might mean nothing. Right?
Oh, sorry. Like, explain Mark Stell.
No.
Greek
What?
god.
Yeah, Mark Stell's like Clark Kent.
Yeah,
No.
Superman.
But beyond that, the 160 for 8, he hit 200. But why was that different for you?
Because I'm a female. I'm a female. So again, like, someone said this in a podcast. They were talking about like prejudice, females, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And they said like our strength capabilities are the same. The progress is the same. It's just like the actual like expression of strength that's different. So I don't want to say I'm never going to like squat 300 kilos because I don't want to put that limit on myself. But like, again, the chances are higher for like a male to do it. Like, there's more testosterone on it. Men are just stronger. Like,
Can I see if, because this is what I assume you mean, is that you guys can rep, or you girls can rep closer to your 100 max?
I think that's more individual. I think it is a general statement, like girls can like recover faster a bit, whatever that means. But I think that's, again, to do with like men are just lifting more weight, so it's harder, like more absolute weight. I think that's like the way to put it. Like absolute weight, of course, men are just going to be stronger. But I think like the progression and everything is the same. Like if I go from 160 to 200, it's the same as like Mark Stell going from 280 to whatever, that kind of, you get what I mean? But for me, I was so delusional. I was literally like, he says, if I do 160 for 8, that means 200. I took that for point blank period. Like there's no other factors to that. What was the question?
It was how being black and being a female influence your lifting experience.
Okay, so at the start, like it wasn't really a thing. It was like female, male, same program, doesn't matter. Now, like learning a lot more about coaching and stuff, it's like those things do take, like if you kind of delve into them more, you can get a lot out of it. Like the thing you said about like females being able to like recover a bit better, better at like repping closer to the 1 rep max, and then even stuff like the menstrual cycle and all that kind of thing, like how it affects your training, which it actually does. It's not a thing where it's like, okay, I'm bleeding, so now I'm weaker. It's not just as like broad as that. It's more, it's like the whole month, like that whole month literally affects like your hormones, like how much you can focus. I think that's a huge thing. How you feel about your body. So if you're bulking, that week tree, is it week tree? That week tree is crazy. Like it actually is so bad.
Bad?
Bad. Okay. It's bad, especially if you're bulking. So that's something I would say to girls, because you can actually just like, you know, you feel like you just feel so bad about yourself. Even if you look the exact same, it's just the way like everything's flowing, the estrogen, like you'll literally, and I've heard of like athletes saying this as well, and it can really throw off your training. Because I remember being in my bed and literally being like, what have I done to myself? Like, why am I like 98 kilos? Like, I'm so fat. Like, I hate this. Like, why have I done this to myself? Like, I put myself through so much just to be fat. I was genuinely like, right now, I genuinely could quit. There was stuff not stopping me from not doing it. But I was like, I could genuinely quit in this moment because I feel so bad about myself. And then after a week, fine.
Week 4, you're like,
it's like, look at the biceps and everything. But it's actually so, and if you don't know that that's how, if you're not actually aware of what's happening, that's what sent me down a rabbit hole. And then I remember clocking it and being like, oh, that's what that was. I was like, okay, now I can prepare for it. I know when it happens, I can just tell myself to shut up. Like it's just push past it, turn around the mirror, just wear like hoodies or whatever, just ignore it for that week, and then you're actually fine. So stuff like that has had like a huge impact as well. And I found it made more of an impact when I gained weight as well. So like that's what I mean about being really perceptive to stuff that happens, because then you can like prepare for it. Because like if I had to keep doing that week in and week out and I didn't know what it was, I promise you, like I just would be in a pit of depression. Like, because then if I'm getting to week 3 and I'm constantly like, wow, I hate the way I look, it's going to affect, I don't want to eat. So then I'm not eating, I'm losing weight, my training's getting worse, I'm in a bad mood, and now my whole life is just like a mess.
I could see that. You know, we've talked about, say, Andrew's very clear cut, building momentum through weeks 1 through 4. Week 3, you're at the cusp of it there.
Yeah.
Week 4 is about to be big. And then all of a sudden you feel like shit. If that's on your menstrual cycle, week 3, you stop eating, and then you recover worse. And then you go into week 4 underprepared, and you kind of start to clash with the momentum you're building. That's interesting.
It's womanhood for you.
And then as well, you know, we talk about a lot about bulking and body image and self-perception. But then, then you add in the influence of hormones that are often out of control.
Yeah.
As in, yes, there could be like the pill or whatever that influence your hormones differently. But in general, you have this week 3 experience where, you know, you're okay, bulking for this reason, I feel good, I'm trying. Then week 3, fuck this.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Where it's hard to probably zoom out then again and see, well, it's just week 3, and it can be good for the next 3 months.
And the thing is, people don't talk about it because men put it down so much. Like, if someone posts about, like, you know, I feel more fatigued on week 3, and you need to talk about it, men are like, piss off with that. Like, and it's not even like it's not even me just crapping on men. Like, I'm not that type of person, but like, you will see it where it's like a woman posts about it and then men just completely dismiss it because they just don't understand. I do get it to a point because it does seem a bit wishy-washy. Like, how is this random thing like just happening and it's like affecting like how you lift and stuff. But again, it very much is a real thing, and no one talks about it because it just gets dismissed all the time. You know, like no one talks about it.
That's just the cesspool that is comments on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as it goes beyond your circle,
people,
it's like you start to get, you might reach more lifters, which is cool, but then you also reach just more like numbskulls with nothing between the eyes, you know what I mean? And it's like you get both. So you actually just have to take that on the chin, I think.
I have 2 things that I want to ask, but I think I'll say them both at the same time just so I don't forget them.
Yeah.
I've forgot them already.
You like
It's because I had to say that first, so I forgot it. No, it was going to be about being a girl and then the difficulties with bulking because of like societal norms and body image and how that differs with guys. Because you brought that up to me the first time where like a lot of the stuff we talk about is, you just need to build more muscle. That's not as accessible, or clear cut for a lot of girls. And then we were talking about the cesspool of social media. So I just want to ask, like, what is the sickest DMs that you've ever got?
not from us.
Not from him. Like, what is the most absolutely abhorrent thing that anyone has ever said to you in the DM? So you can answer whichever one first.
I'll answer this one first. this one always comes to mind because it was the most jarring. I was genuinely like, what is going on? So there's this guy, right? No clue who he is. So everything that's weird, like Instagram filter it to request. And I look it through it sometimes because you actually get like some genuine stuff sometimes and it's just entertaining. But ever since I think I started powerlifting, I had these orange socks that I used to wear for my protein. And I used to like, because I used to do calisthenics and stuff, like I'd always just be in my socks posting and stuff. And he'd be like, I love those socks. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's Andrew's second account.
That sounds familiar. He'd just be like,
the same DMs.
yeah. And he'd just be like, do you have Cash App? Do you have Cash App? Do you have Venmo? Like, how can I pay you? He was like, I love these socks. These specific, he would send the post to me like, these specific socks. He's like, I love those socks. Like, do they get dirty? I'm like, what? What? He's like, do you training them? Like, do they get sweaty? Do they get dirty? I'm like, and I'm not replying because I'm just watching it because I can see them come through. He's like, do you have Cash App? Do you have Cash App? He's like, I want how much for your socks? I'm like, I remember saying it on my private story and you replied and you were like, nah, you have to do it. You have to, like, yeah. He's like, of course.
Say something
Everyone used to say it to me. So that's when I opened it and I was like, let me see what this guy's on. Because I was like, money for my socks. Like,
grand, like.
yeah, like used socks, like. And then, so I tried once and I was like, I didn't know if it was a scam or not. So I remember chatting to him and he was just asking weird questions, man. I was like, I don't want to give you my socks now. He was like, do they get dirty? Do you sweat in them? Like, how often did I? And then I was just like sussing it out. I was like, he was like, how much do you want for it? And I was like, I don't really know how to price my socks or anything like that. So whatever, left it. It was fine.
Fucking left it. Like, did you not drop? Like,
This guy was just about to get to the climax.
Just say, was about to say. As you go, man, he just wanted to send the money.
So I forgot about him. And then he started like coming up again. And this was like, I think this was like a year later. I was like, this guy is adamant on these socks. And he was like, these specific socks. So then this was when you replied, actually, because that was a year before. You replied and everyone was like, come on, like free money. I was like, okay, cool, I'll go back. So I went back. And then he started saying he wants to unload his. Yeah, I don't.
Before you got there, I was about to say best 500 quid I ever spent.
He started getting way too graphic about it. I was like, I would feel. I just imagined myself. I was like, okay, cool. I could get like 200 quid right now. But imagine taking my socks out of the cabinet, putting it into an envelope, and bringing it to the post office. I was like, I feel so dirty doing that. And especially because he told me what he's going to do with it.
At least if you were ignorant to it, you
It's
could.
bliss.
Look, next time that happens, I'll deliver the socks by in person.
I'll give them to
fucking
you.
drive them to his house if
your
you give me a
home address.
percentage of that. If you say $1,000, give me 300 quid. You can.
And he'll
US.
deliver them for you. I'll be over in his house one of these days. Andrew, where are these orange socks? Where'd you get that?
No, it was too much. No, that will stay in my mind forever because this has been over like 2 years now. Like, man, just like he's so like I almost wanted to send it to him just from the graph.
He's a grafter.
From the graph.
God loves a trier.
It's psychopathic lover.
Not in the same lane as him. We're not in the same. No, that's. I think that's the first one that sticks out. And then I get stuff like a weird class of men that just want to be dominated or something. They're like, can you beat me in an arm wrestle? There's this one girl, she just sent me, she's like, could you beat up my boyfriend? I was like, I don't know if this is a cry for help or if this is a do not know.
Sexual or like
Exactly. I was like, why would you want me to beat up your boyfriend? Like, it's just weird stuff, man. But it's entertaining because like you can just look at it and not actually have to like reply to it.
Everyone listen now, go text Lystus the most heinous thing that you can think of.
And you're getting blocked. Yeah, so I would say that. And then on to the serious question about like bulking as a female. I think with girls, like it's just been like this massive shift from I want to be skinny with a thigh gap and abs to like now I want to get strong. And I think it's so sick. Like I genuinely think it's the coolest thing ever. Because I remember like when I started, it was very much like be as small as possible. Like I was training for abs all the time, like always checking for abs. Like that's what I wanted, be as small as possible. I don't want the scale to go up. And then as powerlifting is getting bigger and stuff, it's like, even girls who aren't powerlifting, like, I want to get big like you, like I want to bulk. And I'm just like, this is the sickest thing to hear because you never used to hear that. And I think as well, joining abs was like a huge reason, a huge like, I don't know, catapult into me just like loving the whole like huge aesthetic and having like muscles. 'Cause when I came in here, I thought I was too big. And if I showed you a picture of me now, like I literally look lanky, like ridiculous. But then seeing like Emma and Anna walking around with like their delts out and they're just like, I was like, oh, so people do that? Like, I was like, is this cool here? And I was like, it's so sick and it's like so empowering. So I was like, oh, cool. I was like, oh, got a little something too here. And then it's like, okay, you want to pursue that. And then seeing that mindset shift on Instagram and like reels and stuff, you're seeing videos where girls are like, I just want to get huge. I want to be bigger than my man. I'm just like, this is so sick. And even girls approaching me, like that want to start coaching, they're just like, I just want to be big like you. I want to squat. Like, oh, this is so sick, man. I love this because it's so sick just being from like, literally from this side of things, like to this side of things and seeing things change so much. But then there is still that mentality there because we grew up with it. Like a lot of us coming up now grew up with the, like, we want to be as small as possible. Like when this, like girls, I remember, I put up a question box about like a bulking video that I never actually made. And people were asking questions like, how do you deal with the number on the scale going up? You know how crazy of a question that is? Like the number on the scale it means nothing. Yeah. Like if you look good, you look good. Like the number on the scale literally will tell you like close to nothing. It will literally tell you that the mass you have now is going up. Like imagine the mass going up because your ass is getting fatter. That's a good thing. But people just see like, I was 87 and now I'm 88. Like that's bad. Like we just associate that with like, that's just bad. And it's even a mindset like I had to shift as well because it's just like if the scale goes down, I'm pissed. Yes, like, it's like I want to see that number going up. But again, we grew up with that mentality of like we want to be as small as possible. So I think this whole societal thing is huge because it's like if you bulk, there is a possibility you're going to gain fat. Like it's going to happen.
Possibility.
No, for you it's a definite. For me it's but like in general, like there is like you will get bigger. I'm not saying like if you gain weight, it's all going to be muscle. It's going to be like fairies and you're going to get stronger. Like there will be like fat gain. Some will go to your stomach. It depends on like how you're built and stuff. So that is a concern. But again, I think it's all mindset. It's like there's a phase for everything. So with my girls, because especially I've gotten a lot of them to just like bulk and eat, get stronger. And then they get to a point where like, okay, listen, I don't feel great in my body. Like I want to do a mini cut, that kind of thing. And like, that's a good mentality to have about it. It's like, okay, we bulk for a little while, we mini cut, we bulk, we mini cut, like periodize everything. I feel like people take bulking as such like I'm bulking, I'm eating 10,000 calories a day for the next 2 years. Like that's not what it is.
Womp womp.
It's not what it shouldn't be. There's ways to do it properly. But what was the question? Yeah, again, there's a huge like how we grew up, like how our minds are just like the negative connotations around bulking, like as a female. But I think it's just like managing your mindset and just doing it properly as well.
And you feel it is shifting in the direction.
Oh yeah, it's so sick. It's actually so sick. Anytime someone says to me, I get so many messages like I just want to bulk. I want to be like you. Like I'm just like, oh stop. Like not even because it's a compliment, because it's like you never used to get this, man. You literally never used to get this. Like even just like your general pop female is always like I used to do general PT and it's like, oh man, I would hate when people would say. They would always say, I want a flat stomach and a fat ass. I'm like, I said, you have to explain the whole thing. Because like, you know those PTs who are like, yeah! Just give me my money. Give me your money. I'm like, no. I was like, I need to explain to you. That's not how it works. But again, like giving that mindset of like, we have to take time to build. We want to prioritize getting stronger because then that means better habits, better life, all this kind of crap. But yeah.
It's nice to acknowledge, or it would be nice for you to acknowledge for yourself that you are playing like a pivotal role in the cultural shift that is people accepting that being bigger and bulking is not this evil thing. It shouldn't be looked down upon and can be amazing. You don't have to be lean and all this. You can put on muscle, you can eat more, you don't have to be tiny. And you're playing a pivotal role in that, so well done.
Although people are like, there's some people messaging you, I guarantee there's probably 10 times the amount who haven't messaged you, but you still
100 times.
Significant impact on their life. So
I could take as one video for someone to see, and their whole life trajectory shifts because they saw you. So well done.
Thank you. And it's kind of like, it's been made my personality, which is quite interesting because like I started being so opposite to this. Like I was genuinely like, I'm not doing powerlifting for longer because I know I will gain muscle and I don't want to be bigger. So it's cool now, it's the complete opposite. I'm like, I'm trying to get as big as possible, inspire other people to do it. And like behind every video, like that's the main aim. It's like, people associate me with bulking now. Like I was on a cut and people were like, I need bulking tips. I was like, whoa. I'm like on this perma bulk lifestyle. But it's so sick to be associated with that because, as you said, like the positive effects, and it's so sick to see. Like it makes me, it's one of the things that genuinely just touches me. Like not even just like, I just see your head. I'm just like, because it's like cool. Yeah, I can squat. I can big squat or big total, whatever. Like that's just whatever. But then someone just saying like, oh man, I want muscles because, oh man, I'm actually gonna cry. So basically, when I was general pop and I was like just working on a gym floor, I genuinely cried. So one of my favorite clients, like she was just, again, gen pop, just trying to get strong, doing the basic like overhead press, squat, whatever. And loved her. She had the chats as well. You know those like clients you have that just chat. But they'll get the work done as well. Loved her. When I saw her coming down the stairs, I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a fun session. During Christmas, she got me this card. Oh, I'm gonna start crying. She got me this Christmas card and she just gave it to me and left. And there was money in it and stuff. And she just wrote, Merry Christmas, thank you for all the muscles. I broke down. I genuinely broke down because I was like, it's just so nice having that impact, you know, and just seeing a female being happy about having muscles. She's just like, I was looking in the mirror and I just saw like this little like thing. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. Like, I'm so happy for you. Especially because, again, as I said, it was only recently that it was very much like the other way, where it was like abs, all this kind of thing. So it's just like, I think it's just so sick to see. And it's cool to be a part of it as well.
Absolutely. Unreal. Conversely, you have Andrew posting like when you go to full sumo and it's like gay. So,
Oh, right. I try to go one on, a stupid one, then one on with a podcast one with good info, right? Then one on, a stupid one, then one on. Right? So that is but the worst part is the ones that get the most reach are the ones where it's just gay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well.
Right. So go on, get to it.
I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Andrew's also afraid of this one.
Yeah.
I thought we got through the...
Well, it's related. It's related in the, the experience of, again, we're two pasty white guys. When I go on Instagram now, first person, not you, Joey, right?
Joey Shaw.
Joey.
European champ?
Yeah, I think so.
And worlds?
No, not worlds.
Might as well be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Nathaniel.
Messiah.
Nathan.
Those are my brothers.
Javed.
Abdul.
Bro, why are you making me say the second names? Like,
Because I'm shit at this. You fucking gave me Fibonacci last
Abdul
time.
Majid Saleh.
Oh, another one of my brothers.
Anyway.
Can I just cut across you there? That guy, Mo, the most
jacked
jacked guy I've ever seen in my whole life. If I look half as jacked as him over the next 10 years, that
action figure.
I can
literally just as an action figure.
Yeah.
And Lystus, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
We've already listed some of them already in the podcast. Russ.
Yeah.
But there's no end to this,
Yeah.
right? There is no end to this. And what I'm getting at is, you're all black. Okay? So, do we think, right, as powerlifting goes on, that we're going to see more and more weight classes, world champs, being black? And why do you think that is? Because just off the bat, incredible athletes. Like, it's like you have this potential that's just, or your trajectory for progress is just aimed a little bit higher than ours. It's insane. And it's like your potential, I genuinely have no idea what the heaviest squat you're ever going to do. As you said, I'm never going to squat 300.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not going to put that limit on myself.
I wouldn't put that limit on you. As you get stronger, as you get bigger muscles and all, I don't know, Liz.
300 isn't that heavy.
Good.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm
Doing
saying.
it, and I'm like, oh,
Could do that. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm touching on is I'd love to hear your opinion of it. Is like, what makes black people so fucking strong?
So there's a few.
And so jacked at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Like genetics definitely comes into play. Like there's vibranium in bloody.
I think so.
In our genetics, like.
Yeah.
So that's something I would say. I think they take well to strength sports. I think upbringing, as I said before, is a huge one. Because I was saying to you how like a lot of us are like first gen, second gen.
Yeah.
So it's like our parents literally moved from their families, moved from everything they knew, usually in like not as well off, because again, they're in third world countries. And the reason why they're leaving is to get a better life. So it's like when you come from that, they instill from you from a young age, like this is why we're here. Like you need to make it because we want you to succeed. Like we don't want you to have the life we did. And it's usually you're coming from like a less well off. I don't want to say poor, it's not poor, but like a less well off than like your peers and stuff. So maybe like your house isn't as big. So not, you know, like things aren't, you're comfortable, but like on the brink of not comfortable, you know? And your parents are working like all the time. Like they're just like instilling in you, like you just need to do well. So I think that's a huge thing as well, because a lot of them are like Nigerian as well. And a lot of like Nigerians came to like Ireland, UK, And you'll see it, like the work ethic is just there based off of that thing alone. It's like we want to, even as an individual, you're like, you know, I had to share a room with my brother for like most of my life. Like my brother with his stinky socks, and like that traumatized me. It's like I do not want my children to go with this. Like genuinely, man, the depression that came from that was actually ridiculous. But anyway,
And the orange socks and everything.
I'm still thinking about them bloody socks.
I have them here.
That would actually be crazy. That would be crazy.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, like just having like I want better for myself. Like I don't want to have to, I don't know what are other things. Like I used to have to like, I don't know, walk to school like with my heavy bag and all this. Like it's like stuff you just don't want. So naturally it's like, okay, well I have to. There's no choice. Like kind of have to. So I think a lot of people just have that, like just the work ethic. Because I think work ethic is the hugest thing. Like there's that phrase where it's like hard work beats talent if talent's not working. You can have all the talent and the genetics in the world, and they do play a factor in this case. 100%.
The big part of that saying is if talent's not working.
If talent's not working. If you have both, yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
You can't beat someone who has the genetics and the work ethic. You genuinely cannot. I believe you can't. Like it's impossible.
So here's kind of bringing us back to the question is like, you know, you've the genetics, you've the work ethic, so there it is. There it is.
The
Super
sky's the limit.
That's why none of y'all can beat me.
That's what it, like I grown up just the estate where I lived, the majority of my friends were black. Bro, we're like 11 years old and motherfuckers are walking around with capped delts and washboard abs.
Yeah,
and I'm like a bag of milk. I'm going, what the what? What the fuck? I got the short end of the stick.
Marshmallow walking around.
Speaking of Mo, actually, he was chatting to me, right? And he was just like trying to get info because he's very like, what would I say?
Smart.
Yeah, very inquisitive. And he was trying to figure out, because he was like, why are all the best deadlifters black? Like, why are like the monsters, like no, he was 2 years old, a man's pulling like Jesus weight.
Wait, but why is he asking you?
Just a second.
Yeah.
I think I said the same thing. But he was just like jacked and strong in general. He was trying to figure out, like, are we all from the same place? Like, is there like not just black? Is there a specific place in Nigeria? Because there's different tribes and stuff. And he was finding like a lot of them are from a specific kind of tribe. And he's still doing that research. I don't know what he found from it. Because he's very like, he's literally asking everyone. He's like, I need to ask Russ and see like what's going on. But that's something I noticed as well. You know the way I was saying this to you, how different like races have different like
characteristics,
right? So like Asians, mobility is insane. Like a
Phenotypes,
lot of them.
It's called.
That's what it is, yeah. Just
Degree boy over
mobility.
here, whipping it out.
You go to college, you do listen. But like Asians are known for like having like weightlifters, and yeah, Asians, like a lot of them just have amazing mobility, right? I think it's like similar with black people, but their build. I think their build is what's kind of like making like their pulls just ridiculous. Like I saw this girl on, she's not even a powerlifter. Her torso was this long, was like this short, arms went down to her knees. And I was like, if she pulls 180 straight away.
Dami.
Dami comes to mind.
Dami.
Nonso.
All of them.
But
like
Dami pulled 360 for 3.
Yes.
Any black girl that pops up on my feed automatically won 180 kilos. It's always 180, like every single time, just because of the build and the bum as well. I was saying
I
that.
thought you would say the back.
Yeah, shocking when I was like, but it's crazy. And then that has a lot to do with Nigerian food as well. Nigerian food, man, calorific. If you want to like bulk, man, Nigerian food is it. Like it's just so many calories. Now most of it's fat, to be fair, fat and carbs. But like a lot of us grew up eating it. That's something I regret. I didn't eat it as much. Like my mom didn't cook it as much. But man, that gives you like superpowers. I'm not joking.
I'd say that's a massive
chicken dippers.
That's what I was gonna say. That probably plays such a role. We are eating absolute muck, man.
That's true.
Chicken dipper.
Easy single fucking.
And then Nonso's here with his like chicken and his beef and his like rice.
I went
and
to my first like close black friend that I had. It was primary school.
Yeah.
His name was Jojo. If you ever listen to this, big ups. Right. I actually think he moved to London, but I went over to his house. People come over to my house. It's like oven pizzas, whatever. I got an oven pizza to myself, and I got half a chicken, rotisserie chicken, cut in half, and one to me, one to Jojo. I was a marshmallow. Like I wasn't. I was a little and peas. It's oven pizza, half a chicken.
That's
peas.
crazy.
And I was like, mom. But no, like not to knock my mom, but it's just like different cultural habits in the kitchen. So
100%. There's a few things I would definitely say, like the food and the culture, the work ethic. Again, like what would you call that? Socioeconomic, like moving from one country and all that kind of thing. And then genetics. Genetics is the huge one. Like people do. I feel like we were at a stage where everyone was like, if someone pulls something heavy and they're black, it's genetics. So then everyone was like, you can't say that. So now everyone's like, you can't say that anymore, right? But I feel like it definitely comes to play, like 100%. Like I would say in terms of like, maybe strength potential, and then like in terms of like what you can achieve naturally in terms of like aesthetics, I think there is definitely a bit of like a head start, for sure. With the genetics, and then obviously the work ethic and stuff is just.
I think the genetics one is difficult because it's impossible for you to like quantify how much of an impact that it has. So, and then also for someone who does have like incredible and like favorable genetics, they have no frame of reference then, because that's the normal for them. They didn't have to do anything to achieve that. Now that's where the issue can come if someone just says, "Oh, you only got good because of your genetics,"
that's what the issue is.
Yeah, so like that's not the case, and that's definitely not what we're trying to imply. But for someone who has favorable genetics, they can't compare it to what it's like to not have favorable genetics.
Yeah.
So they just know I put in this work and I see X result. But then for someone else not like that, they're looking at this person going, I put in X work, but I don't get Y results. So that's why it must be their genetics and blah, blah, blah. And even that is difficult because there could be so many tiny things that we've touched on there that are different in their life than it was in yours. Yeah. The way you were brought up, the work ethic that was instilled in you, the types of nutrition that was in the household, like all that stuff. But yeah, there has to be some form of genetic component. Like that is just a fact, but it's impossible for anyone to say how much. So it doesn't bear too much thinking about because you can't change it. You can't affect it. So just worry about the things that are in your control and try and maximize them, and fucking wherever you shake out. And
why'd you end it like that?
What do you mean? Like
wherever you shake out, shake that shit out.
Wherever you end up in the end is just whatever, when you roll the dice, whatever lands there, that's what you got from all the work that you put in.
There you go.
Anytime I listen to this podcast, I want to play like bingo. You know that thing where you play bingo with like you predict what's gonna happen? And I literally write out a sheet.
Every
and
time
I have
Andrew
a few
says
things.
this, take a shot.
Every time Andrew says like a quote no one's ever heard before, like you've never heard before. He said higgledy-piggledy, and you're like,
I forgot that word until now. You could see the gears turning in my head. I was like, what's that fucking word?
Yeah.
Higgledy-piggledy.
And then every time you obviously innuendo, 100%. I could put that in like 3 times.
Yeah, every time.
Me?
Yeah. Every time there's like 5 minutes of you guys just laughing. Just all of you guys laughing. That's 100% on the card as well.
I can't wait to watch back the laughing fit earlier. Yeah. That is going to be
so funny.
I'm going to cry laughing the same way I did watching that back.
It was like 10 minutes. You're gonna
that was long. That was, and
like
it's staying in. You're listening. Anyone listening to this on Spotify is just going to have to listen to like 3 minutes of laughing.
Also, to preface, so I don't seem like some black enthusiast, right? We are seeing all the...
It's the opposite. Sorry, bro.
I was going to say.
I don't know what you mean.
That's allowed. Like you're allowed to do that.
You good?
I don't know what I meant by that. He looks bad.
I don't want to seem like
I hate black people.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, like again, we are seeing like the best black athletes. There are black people who are mid. They're just mid. Like they're just not as strong. Like again, with social media, we're only seeing the very best of the best. So that can inflate your thought of thinking like every black person can pull like 300 kilos like an RP5. Well, it's not the case.
Great point.
Most can. No, but that's another point. That's a song. No, genuinely, I remember I was in my kitchen. I was like, wait. This is not adding up. Why am I the only one who can't pull? And people said this to me as well. I think, was it Joey or someone else said it to me? They were like, why are you why is your dad? What you didn't get? What we got? I was like, my parents, man. What the heck?
Because you can bench.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
No, see, but now I'm becoming a total specialist, so it'll all make sense. God nerfed me with the deadlifts. He said I couldn't be a total specialist off it wouldn't be fair. I had to go through the struggle.
Character development.
I honestly believe that. I genuinely do, and it's like, because I've learned so much along the way. I would have been the cockiest prick if I started off as like
Imagine.
oh man,
I cannot picture that at all.
Crazy. You think I'm bad now? If I started off like proper, like pulling 300, squatting 200, like nah, I wouldn't be here right now. You guys would have been like, would you come on my podcast and be like, no. What the heck would I be on your
Wow.
podcast?
Lystus actually petitioned for us to bring her on. We didn't ask her. She actually asked us. Doesn't
Yeah, I
know
want to
how
say
that's
that's a lie, but
Need to
kinda true.
keep
No,
the
that
50
was
quid in
it.
here. Yeah, that she paid me.
I would have been
Nah, that
pissed.
was a lie.
I genuinely would have been pissed if someone else came on before me. I genuinely would have. I would have reported the whole account.
She was the
She
one
was the one star.
You were the one star reviewer. Frick.
Nah, I was just like, nah, I have to be the first guest, the only guest.
Very good.
It's all downhill from here. Like, who else are you gonna get?
So, to wrap up,
Yeah.
what's next? You're going into the Arnold's.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, the Arnolds. I'm really excited. Like when I got the invite, like I was actually happy. Like usually it's like, oh cool, got the invite for Worlds. I was actually just like, wow, I'm actually excited for this one, which is a sick feeling to have. I was like, oh, I actually kind of care. Like I'm actually excited about this. Again, it's a dots based comp. So the main comp of the year is Junior Worlds, which is in August. We're currently at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So it's obviously I wanted to compete before that, and with the bulk, Junior Worlds,
No.
Arnolds,
Yeah.
it's in 8 weeks.
Okay.
It's in 8 weeks. So there's no pressure to actually just like fill out 84 plus because I don't want to do that really quickly because again, that's what screwed me over last time. So I have the chance to like just build up slowly, be whatever my strongest weight is. And then I have all this time to build up into my class for Junior Worlds where I'm going to destroy Chelsea and come first, right?
Nice.
So that's like, it just worked out like really perfectly. So Arnold's, my training is like just gone so well recently. And again, it's because of like just having a goal. I think like not having a competition inside can make you just feel a bit like you're not really doing nothing. So like having a goal in sight and then like all this Chelsea stuff and like all this other stuff, I'm just like so on right now. So my training's going really well. So I'm excited for like that debut comp of 2024. See how that goes. Again, I don't really know what to expect because it's dots based. So I'm not against people who are in my weight. I'm literally against like Agatha. I'm against like it's gonna be like a good comp, like good names and stuff.
best.
Yeah. And that's like where I want to be. Like I don't want to like go in being like I'm coming first.
It's almost
for
like
sure.
a fake Sheffield.
Big Sheffield. Is that meant to be a compliment?
No, I was trying to get a dig at
That's
you
like
because
fake Sheffield.
yeah, I was trying to rile you up, but no,
You
you
did.
You didn't bite.
Oh no, because I'm pissed. Don't belittle my comp like that.
No, I'm only asking.
No, it's gonna be sick because it's something different. It's not like, oh, I have to go to this hotel that's in the back arse of nowhere. Like it's actually gonna be like a sitcom that people actually want to watch. I think there's gonna be like music and stuff. It's not gonna be dead where it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's like an expo. It's gonna be big.
Exactly.
Way more eyes as well. Way more people.
So sick. Like just make you fall in love with competing. I think
colour
that's
hair you gonna
huge. Good question. Do I
spoil
know?
it, can't spoil it.
Do I know? I should. Oh, that's in 8 weeks. I need to sort. Oh, I do know. I've just been so focused on training, man. Yeah, I can't spoil it.
Okay.
Because there's always a big. People love that, you know. It's actually crazy. Like someone was asking me before my comp, they're like, "What can you do your hair like this time?" I was like, "Oh, people actually care. That's
I
kind
need
of
to
sick."
jump on that. I need to start.
It's a buzz cut.
Oh my days,
I need to
no,
start down
never. Yeah, exactly. I think it just.
Next comp, Junior Nats.
Really?
Will I die for Junior Nats?
No,
you do?
please,
What do I do?
please.
What?
What should I do for
Please.
Junior Nats? I'll consult with Lystus.
Yeah, I think cheetah print.
Oh, yeah,
I would
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I think it's
The
good.
fact that you love that says it. Oh, that would be so sick, and I'll help
And
you.
then I
out.
can just shave it off after.
But
Or
as-
keep it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
as you guys said, like
Flames?
enjoying it is huge.
Flames?
Yeah.
Like all that little stuff actually just gets you so like it makes you love the sport. It's like it's not just a thing, it's a thing. Like it's a spectacle. I love doing that with my comps. Like it's just like the hair, the look, everything. It just makes you like enjoy the whole process. You know? So
I've had like 5 9-for-9 comps in a row. Imagine I dye my hair and this is my first shit comp.
it's like backwards for us.
I just absolutely fucked myself because I
Imagine
tried to
going
do something
9 for
I'm not.
9 5.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I think I've gone 9 for 9. I've competed like 14 times. I've gone 9 for 9 like once, twice.
She's competed more than the both of us and she's been
Yeah.
doing it half the
Yeah,
time.
you man are slacking.
You were rinsing one of the years. It was about 6 or 7 comps.
Yeah.
I had like 3 comps in 1 month.
Yeah.
No wonder you wanted to quit. That's a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just built different, man. You guys couldn't handle competing.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's an insult or
The
just like.
waffles can't
yes.
feel me for fucking.
Man, I had some waffles recently. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for it.
Haven't had one in a long time.
Yeah.
No more beige food. That's the mood for 2024.
Okay.
No more beige food.
Oh, I've heard about that because it's
Yeah,
all
just-
like processed.
Yeah,
just
because Sean
colourful
Noriega
food.
coaches you.
Huh?
Sean Noriega coaches you.
Yeah, I got a health max. my food just like the food doesn't even touch each other. It's just like steak. It's like
Bloobs.
sauerkraut, strips. Actually, I love Sean Noriega. I genuinely picked him as a coach because I love him as a person.
Right, thanks for coming on, guys. Next week.
So anyway, if you want coaching from
Sean.
so that was getting cut.
Just ends.
Anyway,
Joey Flex anytime.
what do you mean? Evolution Powerlifting. I have the website launching, evopowerlifting.com. Get on it. Evo Powerlifting Instagram. Andrew Blackwood _ on Instagram. Andrew something else on TikTok. You'll find out. I don't use TikTok anymore. Yeah.
TikTok
There you
one.
go.
Done, Justin. Thank you so much, Lystus.
What about you, bro? You coach us up. And then we'll say thank you.
Oh, okay.
Wait, do I not get to plug my stuff as well?
You will.
Okay,
Wait,
sorry,
what?
sorry. I was just checking.
Andrew Rowe _ Odyssey on Instagram. That's all you need to know, or odysseystrength.ie for coaching.
Me, so I'm Fitstis on Instagram. Just look up Lystus because I think that's how you find it. Lystus, or it's like _fit.stys. Fitstis, not Fitstis, because everyone says Fitstis. Same on TikTok. Same on what's the other one? YouTube.
Venmo.
Venmo, yeah. Cash App.
Cash App.
What else do I have? Use my code Lystus Ivankas for money off your Ivankas shoes.
Anything else?
No coaching because I'm not taking on anyone at the moment.
The
Yeah.
big leagues. Anything else exciting coming up for you? Anything on the verge? Anything? Yeah, maybe you do.
Oh,
Maybe.
all right. This weekend I might be going somewhere, but I can't really say anything.
We're
We'll
teasing
see.
them. We're teasing them.
We're teasing them,
Tune
yeah.
in. Tune
Yeah.
in to
Yeah.
Lystus
Shoot.
Instagram.
It's big,
There we go.
big. Yeah,
Teasing it.
Yeah.
Keeping them wanting more.
exactly, 100%.
This is amazing.
Thank you guys for listening, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, love you lots.
Yeah. Rate 5 stars on Spotify, by the way. Bump up our average after
Yeah.
that 1-star review.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you, Lystus.
Of course, happy to be here.
Catch you in the next one.